Hey. Good morning. Okay, not good morning. Bam, we're live. He didn't have his earphones on. I don't think he knew we were live. Good morning. Hey, good morning.
Oh, yeah.
Hey. Can you hear me?
Now I can.
Hey, man, there's some crazy stories in the news right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
The drone stories I'm tripping on. Drones the size of cars flying over people's houses.
Rhett was showing me a DJI, and I don't remember if it was 10 thou or 50 thou.
Yeah.
But it has a couple 100-pound payload capability.
Uh-huh.
And it's like the size of a Volkswagen. And I was like, I'd get 7 of those. So there's got to be someone with the means thinking like me. I didn't know that was available.
Just right here, not in Scotts Valley, but in one of those small towns behind Scotts Valley. I'm sure you know the name of the town. I can't remember it, but they have flying cars up there already. They have these drones that you sit in. I've been watching them on YouTube, and they look like DJI drones, and there's dudes sitting in them flying them around.
Yeah, as soon as the thing has a 400-pound capability and you got the control and an emergency put me down button.
And have you seen those drones also DJI is selling where you just, they're expensive, but you just buy a box. The drone lives in it. You set it out in the Arctic or out in a desert or an oil field somewhere, and then you can fly it from anywhere in the world. You push a button, the box opens up, and the drone comes out, and then you do whatever surveillance you want to do, and then you push a button, and then it goes and flies back in the box and charges.
I want one of those.
You think those are friendlies? One of the stories said there were 50 of them in the sky. Another one said that a Coast Guard ship was followed by 12 of these things that are the size of Volkswagens, just off the coast, off the East Coast.
In March, we'll have a Chinese president. He's never been here, you know?
Hey, I flew my drone a couple months ago. I had the whole family out, the grandparents, me and the kids, and my neighbor came out with a gun. Why isn't someone just shooting these down? And if he would have shot it down, I couldn't like argue with them. You know what I mean?
That's a felony. You suffer the same fate as if you shot at a 737.
Really? If you shoot someone's drone down, that's illegal?
Yeah. Look it up. It's gnarly. People have been prosecuted as though they were shooting at jumbo jets.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, hang gliding was, I don't know if it's still this way, but when I was a kid and stupid enough to do that shit, as soon as you put wheels on your hang glider, it became an airplane and the FAA was involved. But a running landing, it wasn't an airplane.
That's a crazy chapter in your life, by the way. Whenever you tell those stories, I have trouble getting my head wrapped around.
Dude, I've been to more hang gliding funerals than anybody. Like I was one of the first. I don't know when it started. Nobody knew, but like I felt like I was Icarus's cousin.
I mean, you did
story, and the one I heard is a 1 in a million thing. That was a 1 in a million failure. And I'm like, I've been to 4 funerals in 2 years. Like,
and there's only 100 guys that do it.
Yeah, there's 500 of us around the world.
I mean,
I knew 2 guys, knew them well, flew with them in Simi Valley a lot, and they went out to somewhere in Germany, and they got in a thunderhead, and one was found. He looked fine, but he was frozen solid, and the other guy, he was like a carbonaceous mess of protoplasm. He got struck by lightning, and the other one got frozen. Found him in a pasture. My buddy Paul Nicholson, who lived with us and worked for my dad found out this kid made a variometer, and he was doing analog design when the whole world went digital. When the whole world goes digital, if you're really good at analog, you're making 200 thou a year as a 24-year-old fucking in LA in 1990,
which was like $1 million now.
It was amazing. He had a special talent. He did analog design, not digital design. Everyone's doing chips. He's doing capacitors and resistors and shit like that. But Paul was in a kite, and that wing just folded from thermal.
Uh-huh.
And he looks down and he sees cows, and he sees an oak tree that's like 20 degrees off from below him, and he's up like 5,000 feet. So he starts trying to make the fluttering, flopping mess go towards the oak tree, and he thinks he's headed towards it, and he wakes up in the hospital. He hit the tree.
Oh,
He
damn.
made it. And the people that rescued him, that came and got him,
Yeah.
the cow was standing over him and he was talking to it. He has no memory of that. But he thundered through this fucking oak tree at 60 miles an hour in a fluttering mess of a maple leaf and kite.
What's the logic for the tree that some branches will break your fall?
Yeah. You'd rather hit the tree than the dirt. I knew a guy that filmed a commercial for Jeep. You've seen the commercial where the guy hang glides and he like lands in the Jeep and he's talking to a chick. Yeah. Well, the guy that did the hang gliding for that was killed during that shoot. And a helicopter that was filming it flew over him as he was doing it, and it blew him into the ground at like 100 miles an hour.
Wow. And you were doing that when they were made out of plastic straws and cellophane?
Yeah, it was like.
Could you buy one, or were they all homemade?
No, it's kits.
Like from the back of Boys Life magazine or something?
Yeah, it was sketchy as fuck. We were making this thing called the Easy Riser, and it was a dihedral biplane rigid wing. And that was probably the safest and kind of coolest thing out there. But it was all sheet metal. And
were they expensive?
They should have cost more. I pulled a kite out of a bag one day and went off a hill, and I'm like easy takeoff, strong wind, but I can't get any lift. And so I'm just riding down the face of this fucking mountain, right? 15 feet above the top. And every time I push forward, I start to stall. And so I don't want to lose my airspeed. So I want to get as down the hill as I can and then stall at a low speed. And that was one of those things too, where like, I think I'm doing pretty good, then I'm tumbling, and the last 50 feet happened so fucking fast in a fall. But we get back, and the post-mortem was the kite was in the wrong bag. I was like 40 pounds over what,
Oh,
and I remember pulling it out and going, God, it was a Cirrus. This thing is cute. I still got a Cirrus, right?
Do you have any of that stuff?
No. No.
Boy, that's something I wouldn't want my kids to get into, running off the side of a cliff with like some strings and a wing on their back.
Yeah, I saw a headline that a wingsuit dude from Santa Cruz died, and I was, no way, not Stumpf. No, but it wasn't. It was some other guy from Santa Cruz that does stupid shit.
Recently?
Yeah, like a year ago.
Do you have any thoughts about the drones, whether they're real or not?
I think you need to start at, plausibility and worst case scenario.
And I'm only seeing footage of
what
them
would
at
be
night.
A worst case scenario?
That there's 10,000 of them here already, and they're running practice missions to attack the eastern seaboard.
Controlled by
China.
Yeah, right.
I can't believe you can follow a Coast Guard ship with a drone.
I'll tell you this. I'd tell China just straight up, put drones in our airspace, and I will give Pershing missiles to Taiwan with nuclear warheads with a 7-second fucking launch to go time.
Yeah. We have so zero tolerance for Chinese flying in U.S. airspace.
Yeah, dude. I'd nuke them before I'd allow it. You want to have a nuclear war? That's a great way to have it.
Start flying drones over the U.S., big drones, the size of cars.
Yeah, pretending like you're not.
Yeah,
that's an act of war. That's an act of war.
I know you've seen the 10,000 drones dancing together China video. I saw one the other day. I wish I had the clip to show you, but what they did is they made a circle of lights at night that looked like it was like some time portal had opened up in the sky, and then it had lights dropping out of it. And from far away, it looked like a sci-fi movie. You know what I mean? It looked like aliens entering our dimension
You know,
through a fucking time portal.
with 10 million drones, you have a 10 megapixel right image, and from the right
Oh,
distance.
wow. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
So we're ordering up this slit flap thing. You know, the flipping letters that I showed you for the gym?
Yeah, that thing's amazing.
It's incredible. And the options are, I mean, there's color, there's all kind of animation things. But I was thinking, imagine during a seminar to have someone reasonably astute that might even have your lecture notes that could throw key pieces up on the slit flap that, like we define fitness as work capacity measured across broad time and modal domains, and bam, there it is.
Yeah.
One of the test answers.
God, this video is amazing too.
It's really good promo.
Yeah.
And they're in like a storage shed, it looks like.
Always use a little inspiration.
Like their business is?
That's what it looks like to me.
I haven't seen one of these in person. I've only seen these things in the movies.
My local Buck and Ryder great restaurant has one, and they throw up specials and shit. It's cool.
And the sound effects it makes are great.
Yeah, I mean, people watch it. You're staring at the board like there might be some drink that's only $1 for the next hour.
Oh, that was their shit promo. No, Ish. Greg has a great take on that. You misunderstood him. Oh no, it's Goodwill Racing. Greg wants to use nukes. Do you remember what you told me about nukes?
No. Let me explain this to Goodwill Racing. The surest way to get nuked is to signal that you will do anything whatsoever to avoid that, including giving up your sovereignty, your freedom, and your liberty. That's how you get nuked. See, you're a liberal, and I can tell. And here's how it was. Liberals think that police cause crime. You got your shoes on the wrong feet. It's weakness that causes attacks and war, perceived weakness. Victor Davis Hanson wrote a great book. What is it? The End of Everything. What's it called?
Oh yeah.
Shit, I just gave out a bunch of them. Super simple premise, but what happens is that affluent.
The end of everything.
The end of everything. That affluent and successful nations grow soft and start fearing war above all else. Nothing's worse than war. Nothing. And then someone looking at your shit that doesn't have somewhere in a shithole country, they're looking at you and they think I can just come over there and take that. Because I'm not afraid of war, and they are. And that's the mistake that Hitler made, that Hirohito made. Hansen says this has been going on for thousands of years. That you want peace at all costs, and someone a fraction of your strength locks in on that and comes to take your shit. The very thing you don't want, you cause. Not unlike that, the notion, the message on tolerance. The most tolerant nations and cultures breed and fester the least tolerant of fucking ideologies. I don't have easy answer to this, but I think we can start by sharing that You're not thinking straight, Goodwill Racing.
Well, he says he left California because he's not a.
Hey, you lost sound.
How about? Oh, sorry. He said he left California because he's not a liberal. All right, good. All
Okay, good. Then I take it back. It's a horrible thing to call someone
right.
without evidence.
I saw a list. I should have saved the clip. I saw a list of the guy that Daniel Penny brought to the ground in the subway.
Yeah.
I saw a list of his crimes.
Yeah, how about the 80-something-year-old woman that had her skull fractured? They say it's her orbit. Yeah, it's your fucking skull. He fractured her skull. Hit an 80-year-old woman so hard it fucking fractured her skull.
Were they allowed to?
When someone's going to die today?
Yeah.
I got to give him this. He was extraordinarily prescient.
What's that mean, prescient?
He saw the future.
Oh, like he knew what was going to happen.
Thank God it was he that died today.
The list, there was like a child abduction charge. There were some crazy fucking charges in there. Were they allowed? Are you allowed to use those as evidence in the case? I don't think you are. I think in the George Floyd case, they weren't allowed to show video of him in his 3 prior arrests saying, "I can't breathe." He was, Floyd was even warned in his previous arrest when they took him to the hospital. The doctor told him, "Hey, dude, you're going to give yourself a heart attack if you keep eating drugs every time you get arrested," because he was doing that, when he got caught.
Oh yeah. I think it's pulmonary embolism that people will come into the ER saying, "I can't breathe," and they're talking to you and breathing. They're breathing kind of hard and fast, but it's a weird one. I can't breathe, but it's like that time you said you couldn't drive, and I go, "You're doing a most magnificent job."
Right. Oh God, that was fucking scary. I felt like I was in outer space. I ate a batch of brownies at someone's house, and then drove home. And God,
most of the way he says, "I can't drive. I can't even see the road." I go, "Well, this is incredible, then, because I'd give you an A if I were your driving instructor. You'd get like fucking extra points."
That was the worst.
I coached you all the way home.
And you and Haley were both laughing your asses off. God, I slept horrible that night. That still affects me. Hey, and then another story I heard listening to your TV. I didn't hear this story either. That NFL professional athletes are getting robbed left, right, and center. Yeah. Did you hear that story?
You heard that on my TV?
Yeah, just now before the show started, I brought our screens up and I could hear your TV, and it said Kelsey and Mahone were both robbed this past weekend, and then another guy named Burrows. And I guess the crooks are like, "Well, he's out playing football. I'm going to his house and helping myself to shit in the fridge."
Yep.
That's wild. That has to have been going on forever. And then now it's just really ratcheted up with all the illegals. I'm going to blame it on the illegals. If you've ever been
I live just outside. I'm in the Arcadia neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which is one of the nicest neighborhoods on earth. But I'm in the Scottsdale section of it, and there's not much of Arcadia that's in Scottsdale, the city.
Yeah.
And the street signs are different. They're named different. It's 64th in one direction. It's Invergordon in another. And there's just a few streets that don't change their name. And so the look is obvious, and the police are different. It's a different thing to have Scottsdale cops show up than Phoenix PD. And Phoenix PD is a great PD, truthfully. But if you want to commit crime and get arrested or shot, Scottsdale's the place to do it. We had a guy that carjacked a woman in somewhere like Gilbert or something and jumped on the freeway. No leads as to where he went, but he made the big mistake of getting off in Scottsdale. And every off ramp has on the freeway has license plate readers. They're everywhere. And within 15 seconds of being getting off the freeway, and running through the signal. The police were on him. And I think 3 minutes later, he'd been shot a dozen times. I mean, you know, from getting off the freeway to dead, I think it was 3.5 minutes. Great place.
Another thing I don't understand is, like, when I'm at your house, there's always someone there. There's always a nanny, a guy working on the roof, a UPS guy. Those neighborhoods are just like, they just, I mean, they're big homes, the big yards. There's always someone there. I don't, it's bizarre to me. There's people sleeping over at people's houses. Everyone has caretakers. It's so
in a radius of about a half mile. My builder is building in Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Paradise Valley. I mean, we're all neighbors, but we live in 3 different cities with 3 different PDs. What's required to protect a $20 million build in Phoenix is different than it is in Scottsdale and Paradise Valley. And that's a policing difference.
Right.
My point is that people that do crime, if they're good, if they're smart, they know you don't want to do it here.
Right.
There's a house just as nice, just on the other side of the fucking 64th. Just as nice. You can't see the difference except the street changed names, and a different popo comes when someone 911s.
But also, you reach a certain level.
It's Capitola and Santa Cruz, brother.
Right. But you reach a certain level, and someone's always at your house. I mean, when you leave your house, there's a caretaker. Someone has to, like, your house needs to be, like, kept. It's like a sentient being almost.
Yeah, I wouldn't do an empty house here.
Yeah. And I just can't believe that Mahones leaves his house and doesn't have someone stay in it. Like, shit has to be done. Mail has to be picked up. You got to make sure, like, you got a pool, you got dogs. I mean, you got a shitload of dogs.
Yeah, does the missus travel with the team?
Yeah, I think at least at any time, I always see, like, the big thing is that her and the Swifty are always in the box together. So I assume she travels with the team. Justin H, go ahead.
Maggie and the kids are in Costa Rica, and the kids got sick. Rhett threw up all over his bed. Like, they got multiple vomiters.
Do they have? How come you're not sick? I'm still sick. And you said you are? Oh, you don't sound sick or look sick. Yeah,
thanks. But I need more tea. Can I grab that? Is that just
please.
Unprofessional as fuck?
No. It's our show. We do what we want to do.
I thought that would be all I needed.
If you ever have been a part of a criminal trial, you will quickly realize that tons of evidence that shows the whole picture of the crime is never allowed to be presented.
What?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically in criminal trials, there's tons of evidence that's not allowed to be presented.
What's the whole picture of the crime? What does that mean?
Like, like in the George Floyd case, they weren't allowed to present that in his 3 previous arrests that he said, "I can't breathe."
Well, that would, yeah. So that's what you mean by whole picture.
Yeah, or there were some video angles that for some reason weren't allowed to be presented. I mean, the craziest one in the George Floyd case is the fact that Derek Chauvin was using a technique that was taught by the police, and when they brought the manual forward, the police training manual forward into the courtroom, those pages had been taken out. And when they asked the chief of police, that's the same chief of police based on his religious beliefs, refused to carry a gun. When they asked him, was that technique taught in the police academy? He said no.
Yeah, that was all a lie.
Yeah, it was all a lie. And in the documentary,
I've seen the pages.
Yeah, in the documentary, there's like 20 cops being like, no, here's the book. I still got it. Here it is. That's the technique. He even called it out by name when he was doing it. I mean, and they weren't allowed to present that. I mean, it's
early in the ensuing weeks, an affiliate whose spouse is in the U.S. Attorney's office in that region said that the club that both Chauvin and Floyd worked at,
Yeah.
was a known place to exchange counterfeit money. And they were looking hard at what the relationship between them may be, because there was testimony from police that Floyd was asking for Chauvin. And the whole thing was quickly dismissed because the knee ride, the idea. I mean, but there was a thorough attempt to figure out if there was something shitty going on here. I mentioned that in the periphery on a Zoom call, and it made national media, and I became a QAnon guy. I had never heard of QAnon.
I remember this.
And I was like, what? What's the QAnon thing? And I was impartial. I didn't know all the facts. It's even worse than I might have presumed it was, it turns out. But I do know that the feds were doing a deep dive, very, very concerned about, this. And if there was something nefarious, they wanted to know. But that you and I have a friend who allowed himself to be cuffed, and he wrote a knee, and it says it's something that he's done for 5,000 times. And that it's kind of considered the humane thing to do, a guy that's going to split his skull on the window of the inside of your car. You pull him out, and if you stop the head, and anyways, after the Floyd thing on video, our friend handcuffed wrote a knee on a giant that was not trying to be nice about it.
Right.
It's a safe and common technique. It beats pulling them out and cracking them upside the fucking, causing a subarachnoid hematoma with your fucking baton or your elbow.
There's a word for it in the training. Oh, it's called the maximum restraint technique, MRT.
It's called a knee ride.
It says a maximal restraint technique shall only be used in situations where handcuffed subjects are combative and still pose a threat to themselves.
Yeah, you know what that sounds like? The maximum. What is it? What are they calling it?
MRT, maximal.
Yeah, that's like from the Lego movie. What was it? The Ultimate Weapon of Doom or something? It was the fucking
cat.
The cat.
Yeah.
But all you needed was a laser pointer. That was the greatest movie.
And it just destroyed cities.
Yeah, they'd throw this orange cat at Lego structures and knock them down.
I'm a paramedic. A pulmonary embolism will let people breathe air in and out of the lungs, but they won't get any oxygen from it. They will feel short of breath constantly.
Which is exactly what I said. Thank you, John. I thought I remembered that correctly.
To the handsome man with the beard, what's more important in an athlete? Proprioception or the mobility? Thank you kindly.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jake. No. The proprioception makes effective mobility possible.
I don't even know what that is.
It's your awareness of where you're at. Like if you close your eyes and fall over, that's weird, right?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm not gonna. That's kidneys or liver. Pick one. I'm not gonna play that game. Those are integrated capacities that make that we're on our way to making an athlete with those two. In fact, mobility alone. Like, who cares what you're feeling if your mobility is, precise enough? But we'd have to define those things.
Your body's ability to sense movement, action, and location. So it's your awareness of your body. So that's like if you tell someone, hey, when you squat down, bend your knees, and then they don't bend their knees. They don't.
You got to go below parallel. I am.
Really. Oh yeah.
Draw for me on the board. Here's a piece of chalk. Stick figure. What do you think you're doing? Where is it going in your head?
Joe Burrow was also robbed this weekend. Joe Burrow got robbed over the weekend when he was in Dallas playing the Cowboys. Yeah, that's the Cincinnati quarterback. That's the good one. I watched I watched that Syria video. We'll get to that in a second. That was really, really good. Thanks for
Wasn't that
sending it to me.
good?
Yeah, yeah. It was great.
Yeah, he's that's an exceptional talent. I know he's edited to fucking back, and he might just be like, you know, in 10-second bursts, but it's very well done.
Is the summation that Syria, Assad was supported by Iran and Russia?
Sure. For sure. And it was, I mean, Israel would rather have chaos that hates Iran. You saw that video I sent you.
Right.
The Hezbollah guy sawing off the Syrian dude's head.
Yeah, that guy didn't even.
The rebels sawing off the Hezbollah guy's head.
And the guy didn't even scream or nothing. I guess you can't when they slit your throat. He just cut his head off. He's not even panicking. Well, not much.
Well, they're standing on his arms and his forehead. I mean, it's crazy. But anyway,
I told my sister that, and she said it's. She said I told my sister that, and she was like, "How did he do it?" Because she was telling me about sawing the head off of animals, and I said he just did it with like a knife that looked like a pirate knife, and just slit his throat, and just did a couple back and forths, and the fucking head came off.
It came right off.
Yeah,
and you could tell it's not the first head he's removed.
That's what I told my sister too. I said he wasn't an amateur.
Yeah, no, he's not.
Anyway, go ahead. So real quick, and then Greg, you can go, Greg. Greg sent me a video telling me sort of the situation in Syria. The Syrian government just fell. Assad's been in power, and his family's been in power 50 years. And Greg sent me this video that was like 50 minutes long. That's like, hey, check this out. This will kind of give you a big picture perspective of what happened there. Okay, go ahead.
He's actually can identify the Chechnyan, Ukrainian. I mean, there's multiple elements to this thing, right? By their armbands.
Right.
And some of it was embed footage. I mean, like these guys are taking little towns, and the green armbands are hugging the yellow armbands, and this is iPhone footage. Everyone's got their iPhone out.
Here's my understanding that Russia and Iran were supporting Assad so he could keep control over Syria. They got busy with their own wars. They stopped funding him. He left, and Turkey funds ISIS, and ISIS moved in. Is that the story?
Boy, I don't know that.
What was it? Turkey? It sounded. I felt like that's.
I don't know, but my new take on things is that, and Turkey's a NATO ally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that they think that there's something worse in the world than Israel. It's like the South Park conservative, you know, where the Parker or Stone one said, and that was that term was what Andrew McCarthy was it, or Andrew Sullivan, one of the guys is following, said that Parker or Stone one said that I hate conservatives, but I really fucking hate liberals. And I think there's something for most Muslim Islamic nations. I think there's something worse than Jews. And I think it's a crazy Muslim.
Even though they're Muslim.
Yeah. Hey, the security in the UAE is against it's crazy Arabs that they're fearing, not Jews. The synagogue there is the most heavily guarded place I've ever seen anywhere. You'd do better. You'd have a better chance of running into Fort Knox and running out with hands full of gold than you would getting into synagogue in Abu Dhabi. Is a bad guy. You'd be shot by a chick. How's that for an insult? They're tore up over the murder of that rabbi.
That happened in Dubai?
Yeah.
Eaton Beaver, good morning, Sebi and Coach. Hey, good morning, dude. Hope your dad's doing well. During a defensive tactics training that went over the threat of druggies giving themselves rhabdo during altercations. Oh, geez. They were concerned about the druggies giving themselves rhabdo.
It makes sense.
Good. I hope they do get it. Bad day to be Alawite. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, Trish. I mean, isn't the
What is that?
Isn't the guy? It's a minority sect there, and I guess the ousted dude was one of those, right? Wasn't he Alawite?
Alawites are the ethno-religious group of people who practice a mystical sect of Islam called Alawism. They are primarily located in Syria and Levant, make up 10 to 13% of the population. Assad was one of those.
I think
the
so.
Assad family who ruled from 1971 were Alawites.
Now, the guy who used to be the Al Nusra and a part of Al Qaeda or Al Qaeda emulators or whatever the fuck it was, ended up at war with Al Qaeda, and the guy who's in charge now, he's talk is nothing, but when you're like death to the Jews, we're gonna kill all Americans, and you're burning flags, like I get your message. His message is absolutely the opposite of that. He's saying that the Syria is going to be tolerant of all religion. He wants no war with the West. But it's a good thing to say when Israel's just crushing shit.
Right.
Israel eliminated Syria's navy day before yesterday.
Yeah, that was another thing I heard. I heard that it was timed perfectly with some of Syria's shit. I mean,
see the
Israel
pictures on the boats, and so there's Russian bases there. They need to go.
Oh wow, these pictures are crazy.
Of the Navy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great the anti-ship missiles they have. Because the boat looks pretty good, except it's completely black and it's got a big hole in it.
And why were they attacking Syria? Because those are Hezbollah guys?
Well, they don't want the wild faction of crazy Arabs from all over the world that overthrew this guy. They don't need a fairly sophisticated navy.
480 strikes in 48 hours.
That's 10 an hour. That's a good number.
The Israel Gaza thing. By the way, I saw a flyover the other day of Gaza. It looks like 70% of Gaza has been flattened.
My takeaway on that is that the October 7th thing was one of a bad idea.
Yeah.
For those people.
I also heard a story.
Their leadership, their government did that.
I also heard that they weren't planning on stopping. They didn't know when they attacked Israel that there was a concert there. And that the plan is to go deeper into Israel. Because they wanted to show that
were so good they exhausted all their killing energy there.
Yes, yeah. That basically they wanted to come in further undetected and show that they could get a deeper strike.
They needed more attackers.
I mean, hell, if you're going to do, what did they attack with? 1,000 guys? Was that the number?
I don't know.
I saw a great video the other day. It was on a college campus, and it was a woman who had been kidnapped, right, during the October 7th thing, sitting next to some kid who's like an anti-Israel like protester. It was like at Columbia or something. The two of them are sitting side by side, and she's looking right into his eyes, being like, "Okay, so tell me how I deserve this. Tell me how I'm really." And she was just really calm. She's like, "I want to be really open to you. Explain to me how Israel's bad." It was guy didn't say a word for 15 minutes. Crowd was coming unhinged.
The morality here is as clear to me as it is with Hitler and the Jews. I like my friend Bobby's take on this, and it was any nation on earth with the capacity would have turned Gaza into exactly what it is.
Yeah.
If you tried that to Turkey, France, Iran, Russia, Mexico.
I don't know. Some of those European countries would just grab their ankles, dude.
Which one?
Yeah, Germany and France. Like
my last trip to Paris, I went during the yellow vest deal, and I was at the Four Seasons in Paris. No, it wasn't. Was it Paris? No, we're not a different city, different Four Seasons, but in France. And our security detail, and we were, like I was called and told move away from the windows, and there was firecrackers and then gunshots, and these guys knew the difference. They were sensitive to that. And we made it kind of a quick escort away from the Four Seasons. And those guys later showed us footage of the terrorist attack at the heavy metal concert in Paris. And I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was some of the bravest, boldest policing I could ever imagine, done by uniformed cops. It wasn't even like the SWAT guys, right? When my guys came, they had ballistic shields, and it was just awesome. There was no longer any hope. But before that, I saw French cops in uniform. As soon as there was a lull in the automatic weapon fire, stepping into the light and firing revolvers, up at the bad guys. I mean, it was. I don't think that the reputation of cowardism or whatever it is that people ascribe to the French, I don't buy it.
What about Canada?
Canada has lost men disproportionate to American losses in all of our conflicts, and many of them got there first. And so I did a cert where 8 guys were killed. Canadians never did anything like that in the States. No, they've suffered in Afghanistan in World War I, World War II, and I think they were in both of those before we were.
Well, good.
A rifleman goes to war, isn't that right? It's about a kid from Pennsylvania that goes up to Canada to get into the war early.
I don't know.
They're a fierce people. The Canadians were the fucking guys in Afghanistan that were in their BDUs during the brutal Afghan winter, where everyone's like, that was the big story, the brutal Afghan winter. The guys from the Princess Patricia Light Infantry Brigade were wearing tank tops and fucking BDUs playing soccer.
This is 20 years ago, though, right?
We go before climate change.
I heard Jean-Pierre saying in a White House press conference that the Malibu, she doesn't even refer to it as the Malibu fire. She was referring to it as Malibu. It's like a climate incident they're having. Malibu was burned every year for the last 100 years.
Yeah.
And now it's a climate incident.
In 71 at my middle school, a third of the kids lost their homes.
Wow.
And that was the Saugus to Malibu fire.
Does that have its own wiki page?
I would hope. I think it was 71. Maybe 70.
Was it the Clampett fire? Had started on the morning of September 25th, 1970 in Newhall Pass. And within a few hours, the winds pushed it to Malibu.
Yep.
Damn. That was a big one, huh?
That was it. I've only one other time seen. I got caught up. Well, I've been in 4 or 5 fires. But you remember us evacuating Pepperdine?
Yeah, that was wild. I wasn't scared at all. For me, there was no way that. I mean, maybe I'm just naive. It was unimaginable that the fire could come that close to the ocean.
When we were going to go over Topanga Canyon, I was a little concerned.
Yeah, that part I was concerned about too.
Like that's what the fuck up looks like.
That's where they read about you in the news. The wind changed direction and blew over the road and killed people in their cars.
When areas are burning, and I think hence have figured this out, but your Waze and shit will nav you into the death trap because there's no traffic.
Oh, wow.
Go this way. It's uncluttered. All the other ways are stopped, you know? And so you drive into flames.
There's a hotel next to Nobu there, right on the ocean, and it has a swimming pool. And right on the sidewalk, there's an opening. And it's like, fire department, use our pool water if need be. And the fire department can connect right into their fucking pool. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that sign?
We gave the fire department access to our koi pond, and they explained that their sucker line would leave enough water for the fish and not suck fish.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, if you needed the fish to put out a fire, use it.
Yeah, throw the fish. Throw the fish at it too.
I have a fire hydrant at the house and a fire hose and a nozzle.
In Larkin Valley?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Where is that?
In the garage.
Wow.
The hydrant, you park near it. It's right near the water tanks.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
And so with the generator and the two, what are they? 8,000 gallons? Is that right?
The propane?
No, the water. My water tanks.
Oh, right. Hey, so does the fire department come there and check that thing on the reg?
Dude, the fire department goes over my house, and in fact, they told us that we were the first hillside wooded large acre property in Santa Cruz that they had no recommendations. But you know, it was after their 6th time there. But we did all even the things like the what's that yellow plant called? The flowering thing.
Is it come in all sorts of colors? Mustard seed?
It's bright yellow, and they didn't want. They wanted us to eradicate it, but you could leave it as many as you want as long as no two touched.
Oh, okay.
And that was a pretty good effort. We had over an acre of that shit, right? So you're hand selecting these beautiful flowering herbs because they burn like gasoline. He said we won't even go into that stuff. Like if it ignites, everyone runs.
Jonathan Ortega, Secret Service is offering a $40,000 bonus if you're hired. Go try protect Daddy Donald.
Man,
that's desperate. Hey, look, you're not even going to believe this clip I'm going to show you. These are these ladies on I think it's ABC is their network. This is just wild.
Whoopi is out with COVID. Yep. So rest up and get back here, miss, when you feel better.
It's coming back.
It's coming back. Yeah. Another friend of mine got it too. I mean, we have to be careful again.
And it's interesting because a lot of people aren't getting that new booster. Yeah, I just got mine. Different variety.
I got mine.
That one is, I got it a couple months ago, and I did get a reaction to it, but it made me
Is
feel
everybody
safer.
eligible for it now? We have to.
It made me feel safer, but I got a reaction. Can't use their own discernment.
Yeah.
In New York,
no, everyone. Yeah. Clap if you had your 3rd booster. Very good. Come on. It's unfortunate.
The audience is clap if you've had your 3rd booster. The one black guy in the back is the only guy not clapping. He's like, fuck that. I ain't getting that. I ain't getting that. The whole show is like a meme. Clap if you've had your 3rd booster.
My father attributed liberalism to, he just said it was arrested intellectual development. He just turned it into a medical condition. And I've not seen an instance where that's really not the case.
Did you say turn it into a medical condition?
Yeah. Oh, in fact, you know what? You know Dan and our friend Dan and our friend Harry?
Yeah.
Their dad was studying x-rays of the skull and went over to Russia, and he thought for sure that he was going to find an organic brain deficit in socialism. He thought that someday you'd be able to have an MRI. No shit, you're going to be a liberal.
Oh, damn.
that there'd be a thing in the head.
Right.
True story. A very intelligent man.
Did he find anything?
He thought that such a common defect of reasoning must have an organic cause.
I don't think it's preposterous. I don't think it's out there.
Find the place in the brain where there's like this earbud shaped size thing that's just something's missing, right? And you get the Nobel Prize in medicine.
Is Greg using the same barber as the professor in Back to the Future?
Hey, you want to know something funny? I wake up every day, and I have for like 6 months now, thinking I'm gonna go get a haircut.
I heard you say that on when we were in.
Dude, I actually think I'm going to. It's the weirdest thing, and I think maybe it's just to feel good about the things that I'm not getting done. That I like, fuck, like,
Craig has too much money to worry.
Thing in January is gnarly for me.
Craig has too much money to worry about haircuts.
I've got 8 lectures to deliver of fairly technical material that I'm trying to make accessible to the lay public. And it includes all the doctors and scientists I know. And I'm being goaded on and encouraged by the people that truly understand my material. And they will be present. And that's a trippy thing to do. And they can't believe amongst themselves, these wizards from around the world, that someone would bring this material in this manner to this community, to a lay community. And because
I thought it was 10.
It's 10, but the introduction and the closing, like that, come on, that's
okay.
It's trying to explain, what I'm going to do, and at the end, what you might do with it.
Yeah.
What would you do from here?
Caller, hi. Caller, hi. Hey, you win the
Greg.
award for best caller already, just because you stayed perfectly quiet for 2 minutes.
I thought that's how we're supposed to conduct ourselves in society.
You are awesome.
Hey, this is Mike Dell. I think some people told me I had a made-up name last time, but nope, it's me. I'm calling in. I called in once before.
I remember, Mike.
I was making in as a function of my business. So, if I can dial in midday or watch the show, I always listen to it after the fact. Anyway, my comment is a little delayed because you've moved on, but in observation of the COVID commentary you were speaking on, as well as the election, I'm finding as I go through life, I didn't realize that each moment of every day I'm doing, in firefighter parlance, I'm not a firefighter, but my dad's retired, my son is, they do a size up, right? And now, as a function of the COVID debacle, as a function of the election, as I go through life, this size up that I think we all do innately every day, even involuntarily, like life is a layup now. You can parse out where somebody stands and friend, foe, this, that. I just wanted to throw that wrench into the for some dialogue. That's all. It was kind of an observation, nothing more.
Are you saying that everywhere we go, every new situation, we're doing a size up as an evaluation, and because we've had so many big events happen and you can see where people stand, it's easier to do size ups?
I'm saying yes, as a function of the COVID situation, as a function of the election, as I march through life, it's like everything has such clarity now. It's somewhat amazing. I know where people stand, and within my family, within my love life, with all these things, and it's actually made life almost, dare I say, easier in some regards.
Oh, Greg, you're muted. Greg, you're muted. You're about to say something great. Can't let you be muted. Go to
There we go.
Okay.
I fiddled with my
I mean,
earbud
no, it's
earbud thing, and it fucked me up. Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, is this like the realization that the woman behind the Prius is there's some assumptions you can make about her and about the chick in the F-150, and it would be foolish at this point to not expect that difference?
Amen. Exactly.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like it's
It
bananas.
gets out an F-150. I'm
It's like the
sexually
world is now clear.
Yeah.
comes out of a Prius. It's not going to work for us. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's thrown a monkey wrench into my own life a little bit, but I welcome the clarity. Kind of it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, when I would go to the skate park, in the middle of the day and homeschool, all the homeschool parents show up with their kids at the skate park, and as the cars pull up, and I'm the only man because most men are not doing that, and it's women bringing their kids. But as the cars pull up, I think Greg maybe made this observation with me. That's how I learned it. The value of the car is going to be the hotness of the woman. And so finally, when the fucking Escalade with blacked out windows, 2024 Escalade pulls up, you can't see who's in it, but you know she's going to be hot as fuck. And she's going to be so much more attractive than the chick driving the shitty car. And it's because of the spouse she got, right? And it's a 10 out of 10, man. It's 100%. The chick that gets out of the Escalade is always just smoking, some variety of smoking. And
it's like that Christy Brinkley, Billy Joel, wasn't that? They were the couple, right?
Uh-huh.
And so you're
Yes,
playing,
Long Island Zone, correct.
yeah, you're playing with these weird variables because you could end up with his looks and her talent, or her looks.
Julia Roberts and some musician she was with, he was like weird looking. Remember that guy?
No.
Yeah, that's a great observation.
Yeah, but my sense of the the Eastern European Jews having a full standard deviation higher IQ, it was reported, than others. You can watch Fiddler on the Roof and find out how that happened. And what happens is that when intelligence is sexy, people get smarter.
Yes. Interesting.
Andrew Hiller told me once, you want to know who has the hottest chick in the room? I go, who? He said, the guy on steroids. And I started noticing that. And there's that component too. The biggest, buffest guy in the room has the fucking hottest chick. And then also the richest guy in the room.
Yeah, there's a superficiality to it.
Of course. I was not suggesting. Yes, of course.
Jim Jordan thought I should put one of my dogs down because it didn't go with the others.
Oh, jeez.
That's epic superficiality. I'd give that the great Oscar for that.
He let himself into my house and arranged 4,000 books by size and color. I was so fucking mad at him. So it was big green books, little green books, and then a stack of books I needed to get rid of. I wanted to throw him through the fucking window. You want to know the weirdest thing? It didn't in the least bit hinder my ability to find a book. It was better than Dewey Decimal. I mean, it's inside that book. It's right over here.
Hey, listen, you're gonna have to put that dog down. Why? It doesn't match.
Yeah. He was on the cover of GQ, right? Or did he?
Yeah. He's shot in the cover of GQ many times, and in Vogue, and all that.
He shot 100 of them.
Yeah.
Like they might have just put him on the cover out of love, over the years. But what was that a legit cover?
Yes, he's done. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if he personally has been on the cover. That sounds familiar, but I know he shot every major mag.
Did you send it to me?
Is it recently?
Yeah, Kathy and Jimmy did. Someone sent it to me. No. It wasn't Jimmy.
Let me see.
It was some special edition of GQ, and Jimbo's on the cover.
Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, yep, there he is. I see it.
Right?
Yep. 50 best dressed men in America, and he's on the cover.
And someone said it's the Pirates of the Caribbean boots, man.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great picture of him.
Love that kid.
Yeah.
Show him.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll pull it up.
All right, gentlemen, forgive me. I need to bounce. I appreciate the show. And I wanted to call in again. I was unimpressed by my ability to synthesize in a pressure situation my thoughts last time. And I'm not suggesting I did any better this time, but it's kind of, I'd like to keep calling in for that underlying reason, if nothing else.
Yes, please practice on this show. So when you call in a bigger podcast, you don't fuck up. Thank you.
Nah, this is the best podcast. I love it. I love it. Have a great day, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So I want to share my Jim Jordan story.
Please.
He's a kid lived next door to me, and he used to fucking take scissors to his sister's doll's hair and get beat for it. And he knew he wanted to cut hair. And he dropped out of high school and got my sister to drop out of high school, and the two of them went to beauty school. Then he went to Joe Blasco's monster making school and did a bunch of shit. And he used to have chicks come over, and he'd cut their hair, do their makeup, and take pictures of them. And I had a Pentax 35 millimeter camera, and he got me to take pictures of them. And the people that came through his garage and had their hair cut and their makeup done and pictures taken ended up some supermodels, some super talented Hollywood A-listers came out of that thing. And I so didn't enjoy it. I was thinking I was gonna get some pussy taking pictures maybe.
Yeah.
And that clearly wasn't that kind of environment. And so, you know what I did? I just gave him my camera. And this guy went on to shoot hundreds of Vogue covers. He said, I'll tell you how he's doing. He lives in Hidden Hills, and you look out in his backyard and across the way, and you can wave at Eddie Murphy in his pool. So,
and Justin Bieber and the Kardashians.
Everything came out great for Jimmy. And he says it's because I gave him my camera. But he and I couldn't be less alike, which makes us perfect friends. We share no attributes, but I really enjoy them.
Can you remember the model's name he brought to dinner one time with us? She was just a little kid.
Yeah, Taylor.
Oh yeah.
Rain.
Taylor. Let me see if she popped.
She ended up Mike's girlfriend forever.
Yeah, Taylor.
Was it Rain?
I'm just going to type in Taylor.
Victoria's Secret
model. Taylor Hill.
Taylor Hill. Yep.
Okay.
He discovered there was a point where the top guy, that dude from jail, and her were both his discoveries. He saw the mugshot of the kid in jail and then went and visited him and signed him. And he was on a photo shoot for some celebrity at a bed and breakfast, like in Aspen, when he saw her and said, "How old are you?" And she says, "I'm 14." And he said, "Go get your mom." And he went and got the mom. And the next thing you know, she's the biggest model on earth.
Wasn't she sweeping? She was working at at the family business.
He brought her to dinner. And I was so annoyed by her. We had Haley go grab her and take her to bed.
I remember that. We were at the I think we were at the Montage. Jim came. He had this kid with him who was like 14, and she was annoying. And so Greg's like, "Hey," and my wife Haley was there, and Greg's like, "Haley, get this girl a room and put her to bed."
Yeah, it's the little girl's bedtime.
You sent her away, and 3 years later.
I still would.
Oh yeah,
I'd do that for Taylor Swift. It's bedtime, sweetheart.
That was so funny when you did that. God, that was funny. Yeah, it was past her bedtime. She didn't belong there.
Right.
It was like having a little kid at the table. It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
It's exactly what it was.
Wow, what a tribute.
You know, the same time I give Jimmy my camera, I tell Will, who's working at Vaughn's as a box boy, like, you're smarter than this. This isn't a career choice. And he's wish I do it. I told him, you need to go to college. And so I saw him 6 months later. He's, I'm in college. I'm like, what are you taking? And he's like, business and sociology. And I was like, no, not like that. Not that kind of college. You need to take like chemistry and algebra and shit. So next time I see him, he needs a little help. And so I help him with some algebra. And next thing I know, that fucker has left the junior college. He's at UC San Diego. He majors in like chemical engineering and biochemistry. Applies to a bunch of medical schools, doesn't get accepted, and then gets a tip from a gal at UC San Diego Medical School, a black woman, that he needs to get out of California, go to Texas. He moves to Texas, and he gets a job with a Nobel laureate as a lab aide. And 2 years later, with a master's degree, this is Will Wright, with a master's degree, co-authors a paper on transplant immunology, applies to a bunch of medical schools. They all take him quick as shit. And he ends up top student and then goes to the Cleveland Clinic where he's chief resident in radiology and then gets accepted to every interventional radiology fellowship that exists in the world. They all petition him to come there. And this is just telling a kid, you're better than a box boy, man.
Yeah, he tells the story the exact same way. He said he was fucking bagging groceries.
He says, I talked him out of business and now I'm filthy fucking rich, and he's a physician and hates it.
Well, he's rich too. He's just not filthy rich.
Yeah, he says, you went into business and talked me out of it. I tell you what, you want to find success in business, it's going to have next to nothing to do, like study anything but business in school.
Yeah, good point. Hey, that's such a wild story that you talked to a guy who was bagging groceries into going to medical school, and now he's one of the best cardiac intervention radiologists. Is that what it is?
He's an interventional radiologist.
In the
does
world.
Surgery on TV screens with fishing line that he's pushing through a hole in your leg.
Yeah, I trust Will over anybody.
Brain surgery. Dude, my buddy here is getting the best care that Phoenix can possibly offer. And Will's like, well, did they run a culture on that? And he's like, no. He's, oh, well, shit. Ask them why. So he does in a big meeting with a bunch of docs. How come we didn't culture that? And one doc says, oh my God, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Will's a beast.
And Will's like, he goes, dude, if you're in first year of medical school and you don't realize that, you're not going to make it. It's not even like, it's like the horse keeps getting out. Well, did you shut the barn door? Oh yeah, fuck. It's that kind of thing.
I think of Will as one of the most competent humans in a chaotic scenario that I would want around. I'd take him in a gunfight. We had a in the hotel in Copenhagen, which might have been my favorite stop ever. Remember that week? Yeah. Poor Haley ran into that glass thing. Yeah, broke her nose. But that really wasn't her fault, though. No, it was a dangerous setup. Yeah, they remember they closed. There was a concert downstairs in the lobby, so all of a sudden they closed all the glass doors. Do you remember we on your patio? Travis Bagent was smoking a joint, or he was about to smoke a joint, and it dropped out of his hand and rolled into a crack. That's the story I was going to tell. It fell on the table, the wind blew it off, and then it fell onto the slatted flooring, and we watched it almost falling, getting closer, falls in. And we show Will, and with a sewing kit and some cardboard and something, he makes a joint retriever down this path. Yeah, that was crazy. All his interventional radiology pays off in one. I thought that thing was gone. I was like, wow, that was amazing. It's pretty amazing how it disappeared. It was a 1 in a million shot. It was like a hole in one. We're like, dude, what are you making? And he retrieved a deep retractor. Greg was in the presidential suite in this really sweet hotel, huge room. There's 10 people in there, and it feels like no one's in there. And one of the doors is propped open with like a stack of like probably like $3,000
with
in
a
books.
4-inch thick Tash coffee table book has been wedged under the door to keep it propped open. And Sevy comes in and we get the key and he goes, "Oh, that's Travis. That's some West Virginia shit right there." And then we hear bellowing out of the next one, "Hey, watch your fucking mouth." And sure enough, it was Travis. My Riley can tell who the vandal is by looking at the vandalism.
Like which kid drew on the wall with the crayon in your house?
Let me see. Oh, that's red for sure.
Chewing
Why is
gum
that?
stuck
Well, my
somewhere.
eyes are poked out in most of the pictures. Look.
Oh shit.
And he's like, "You did that." And she goes, "Yeah, I took a pen and poked the eyes out." And
Jody Lynn, so generous, Jody. For classic CEO, relaxed tea for Coach Glassman. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
thank you, Jody. Wow.
Very sweet. Are you how are things at the house?
Dude, I'm the only one here.
I know. Does it feel weird? Good, like in a good way?
Well, I really miss Maggie. Hi, Maggie. I do.
I know you do.
Yeah. It's like a problem I have. But the downtime, the quietness, and the amount of stuff I'm getting done is cool.
And what are you spending a lot of time in the classroom right there?
Hell yeah.
And
in fact, I got Will coming out today. I just want to practice some delivery of some concepts.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice.
It's important to teach our kids that probability is the rational, logical measure of our uncertainty and doesn't inhere in objects. It's not a property of matter. And why that matters is also complicated and kind of hard to get across, but it can be done. And it's what we need to do to fix this unbelievable mess that is academic primary research. And it matters most of all because it's infected medicine. And it is like a fucking disease. It's the corpus of medical literature is infected with non-replicable, non-reproducible, non-science. Infected with it. Ioannati's estimate is 50% of it. Entire fields, the bulk of it. Alzheimer's, cancer. It's nuts. It's a crisis of the only thing that matches it would be the stain and damage of collectivism. But the universities I have here, collectivism and deductivism. Those are the two intellectual scourges of our era, and they're both horrible. One stacks bodies like fucking cordwood, collectivism, creates unprecedented poverty, misery, death, and the rest. And the other is costing millions of lives through the failed opportunity costs of a methodology that produces trusted results.
Hey, Greg, at one point, I haven't heard you say this in a while, but at one point you pointed to something that should have been like a big red flag to people. There was this academic publications were like, 100 a year, and now we're at 100,000 a year or something.
Yeah, the amount.
Shouldn't have that been like, hey, what's going on here? This has got to be all bullshit.
We made science, and you need to put big quotes on that. But we made it. We've created a high volume, low reliability, cheap product that makes a lot of money. And I don't see a fix. And in fact, what I'm trying to teach is I don't have any sense at all of how you would fix the system, but I know how you could fix the individual. And that's really no different for me than CrossFit was. There was no vision of everyone being fit.
Right.
I'll show you what it takes to be fit, and you can just figure out right then, yeah, 1 person in 5 wants this.
New medical articles are appearing at a rate of at least 1 every 26 seconds. As if a physician were to read every medical journal published, they would need to read 5,000 articles per day. Holy shit. That's in 2010. This is from the Oman Medical Journal. Wrote this in 2010.
Anyone with interest in the state of medical science ought to listen to and follow Richard Smith, who was 25-year editor of the British Medical Journal. I think it's the oldest and maybe the most respected of medical journals. Marcia Engel, similar tenure at New England Journal of Medicine. And trying to think of the Lancet guy's name.
I heard you say it the other day.
I was up too late last night, or I'd have it. It's usually on the tip of my tongue. Horton from Lancet. So I've got longtime editor of Lancet, longtime editor of New England Journal of Medicine, and longtime editor of British Medical Journal.
Wow, listen to this.
You can't trust anything that comes out. We're at a point now where you have to assume it's fraudulent or wrong unless you have clinical, powerful, empirical evidence to suggest otherwise. So not only can you not read all the literature, it would be a waste of your time to do so. What you need to do is develop a clinical intuition which you support with the literature that is consistent with what you're seeing empirically. And that's my medical society's message. That was the message to the MDO. I get in front of the doctors and tell them, listen, you're not doing science if you read a journal article, you believe what it says, you implement it, and you see with your own eyes in the clinic a different outcome. Your obligation to science begins with empiricism. And that has to trump any fucking thing you read or are taught. And that is a
or feel.
That's a hard lesson. It really is. It's not 1 in 10 Americans that will ever really take that to heart and be willing to learn things that they don't want to learn. I mean, wow, I wish that wasn't true.
I asked someone the other day, a liberal, I said, hey, do you really think January 6th was an insurrection? You think that they went there to take over the Capitol and overthrow the government? Like, just be really honest with me. Let's just be really honest for a second. Do you really think that? And they go, no. And I go, then what's your deal with it? And they go, it's the symbolism. It's how it made me feel. And then we just heard that lady on The View say, the shot hurt me and I had a bad reaction, but I feel safer.
Yeah. I'm more of the sense that the doors of that place ought to be locked for everyone in and burned to the ground every 50 years.
The Capitol?
Yeah. Listen, they didn't give a fuck when our cities burned.
Right. They did not.
Yeah.
They encouraged it. They abandoned the police station in Minneapolis. They encouraged it. That's not hyperbole. They encouraged it.
I watched Obama and his attorney general fundamentally give the green light for the torching of Ferguson. I told every cop I knew, I'm so sorry. I just watched our attorney general make it okay to do you harm. Not one cop said, I didn't do that. Every cop knew. Obama started a culture war against law enforcement.
Yes.
No one in law enforcement missed it. Not the black cops, not the yellow cops, not the red cops, not the white cops. Everyone saw it. I was telling Patrick Whalen yesterday this. I thought he'd appreciate this because he's a poet and a Marine and an educator. But that if in your time or place you have inordinate safety or wealth. Over a few generations, those people, inordinately safe, inordinately wealthy, they will become uncomfortable in the presence of the men that are capable of keeping someone else from taking it from them. I think this was Adam Walensky's motivation for the National Police Corps, which he patterned off something that Venice did long ago, and that was made cops of dentists and doctors and lawyers and tradesmen.
I hate to be superficial, but those are all the narrow-shouldered, big-hipped liberal men in Washington that you're referencing to. They are uncomfortable in the presence of men who are capable of protecting the society.
It's a trip.
Yeah, it is a trip.
So, like, there's people that think that we're going to anger Putin into war.
Full circle back to the nuclear thing.
Yes, he's so much smarter. He's so much more dangerous than someone that you could piss him off and they'd attack you. He's not going to do anything out of anger. He's as likely to do something out of anger as the current world chess champion is likely to do something out of anger on the chessboard to you. Don't confuse. You know what they did to Khashoggi in the embassy?
Yep.
That none of that was done out of anger. Give him an injection, hold him down. He's dead now. Cut him up, put him in little bags, and we'll leave with him. No one's like, it's like what's there to be mad about?
That was the Washington. I followed that story so closely.
Me too.
That was the Washington Post journalist. For those of you who don't remember, he went to he was called to the Turkish embassy in Saudi Arabia
to get a marriage license.
Two G5s landed in Istanbul. They chopped the dude up. I shouldn't be laughing.
The Turks turned over to U.S. intelligence the surgeon working the bone saw singing to himself.
Yeah, they have the audio recordings.
Yeah.
Yeah, those leaked. I heard those. Those leaked.
I was like, what do you sing to yourself after you've murdered someone, you're sawing them up and putting them in quart-sized bags?
Why did the Saudis, he must have done something really bad, that the Saudis would take a risk of just luring him into an embassy in a foreign country, chopping him up and flying him out on G5s.
No. What was the risk?
I mean, it put, who was president then? It put a lot of pressure on the president then. Was it Trump? We were in China when the story was really getting heated, I remember.
Yeah.
God, I was so into that story. And his wife just kind of waited out.
The Crown Prince told everyone, relax. This will blow over. Guess what? It blew over.
So you think it was you think it was just he wrote
we need.
You think he just said something like the Crown Prince has a small penis and he wrote that in the Washington Post and because of that he got killed? Or you think that he was like some sort of double agent or he was involved somewhere?
I would have to assume there was a faction of expats that were still important to him business-wise and their family and friends that were fans of the column. And they probably sent several messages to him that, like, this ain't cool. Hadn't they taken his citizenship or something? But anyways, I mean, it's like Litvinenko or whatever his name was. I couldn't remember it last night either. The very expensive poison guy.
Yeah.
You know, you piss Putin off and he's going to get you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not out of anger. Like the guy whose plane blew up.
Right.
No, I think my sense of it, if like we could hang out with Putin, that what you'd find is that all those things that the left would attribute to someone doing out of anger, he's doing it very calculatedly, and he thinks it's funny as fuck because it kind of is. I knew that Putin had killed Litvinenko. I think I'm saying his name right.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew he killed him, and my introduction to the story is I was in the airport in Atlanta, and I saw Putin on CNN, and I didn't hear what he was asked, but the question it was something about Litvinenko's death, and you know what the fucker did? He laughed and he says, "You need to be very careful about who your friends are." And I said, "Holy cow! I'm listening to a murderer." I didn't even know what the details were, but it was clear to me. Like, you accuse someone of murder and they laugh and tell you needed to pick better friends.
Hey, going back to what you were saying about men being afraid to be around strong men, that kind of man, that kind of mindset, that kind of person. So the West would make fun of this guy, right? The shirtless guy on the horse.
Yeah, and
right?
our guy.
And then meanwhile, this is what they're looking at. This is our general, Admiral Levine. And then all of a sudden, the shirtless guy on the horse is funny, but like, hey, that's culturally his thing. This is just fucking mental illness. No one's accusing Putin of being mentally ill for riding his horse with his shirt off.
Sebi,
What?
Put the picture of Putin on the horse or with the tigers, shirtless.
Yeah.
Juxtapose that with Obama on his bicycle smoking a cigarette.
Right.
He couldn't look more pathetic.
Or how about Biden crashing on his bicycle? Surrounded by Secret Service and being helped by an old lady back up.
Did you see Jill flirting with Trump when it looked like Joe got up to change his diaper or something, but there's an empty chair between them?
Yeah.
And they're leaning across from each other talking?
Yeah. It sucked, man. She's a really attractive woman. She needs to jump ship.
Dude, it looked like she was fucking Trump.
Yeah, she did.
And then she showed up at the voting to vote dressed in red. And so the people on Fox are going, she fully voted for Trump after the Dems tossed out the old man.
Did you see the story?
Biden needs a Trump victory for his legacy. He looks so much better with Trump coming back than he does with Kamala in.
Right.
See, if Kamala gets in and she's maybe the stupidest person to ever run for national office, and maybe by a long shot,
or to teach a second grade class. She's a moron.
Yeah, she's a
imbecile.
Yeah. Someone in the National Review said she lives in dread fear of her dimness coming to light.
Right.
So she even knows how stupid she is. But with her as president, the ruination of this country would be obvious, and Joe would be blamed for not only starting the slide but picking her as a VP. And he gets to now step aside and say, "I'm the only person that ever beat Trump." And so he needs Trump in, and then he needs Trump to be a fuck up, which is how it'll be reported. Watch, as soon as Trump's in, there's going to be a huge homeless problem that matters somehow, right?
Right. It's always a homeless problem when there's a Republican.
Yeah, when Republicans are in, the New York Times can't cover the homeless scene enough. Hey, years and years ago, National Review did a LexisNexis search on the terms far left, far right, and ultra conservative and ultra liberal. And the extremes were attached to the conservative position like 1,000 to 1 in all published material.
I never even heard of far left when I was a libtard.
Yeah,
there was just left, and then the far right. There was no right. There's no right. It's just all far right. Hey, I I heard Jesse Waters reporting that after Pelosi and Obama got Biden to step down, they told him not to endorse Kamala. But as soon as he stepped down, 40 minutes later, he endorsed Kamala. and that there was a guy, John Kelly or someone, that Obama wanted to have run for president, and that's why Obama waited 3 weeks or whatever it was before he endorsed Kamala, and that was Biden's way of like, hey, fuck you guys. I'm going to make this really messy for you. I don't know what the truth is. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but it's a fun story to believe. And you know Jill's fucking bummed because it's going to be a race to the bottom now for them. I don't know how they are set up financially, but life's going to change drastically for her. When you look at the bribes they took, none of them look substantial or worth it. I would have thought it cost way more to bribe a U.S. president. I didn't think you could do something for $1 million. You know what I mean? I thought like you could meet him for $1 million. I didn't know you could fucking have like him fire someone, the attorney general of fucking country.
When you look at the financial upside for corruption in politics and in science, it's always kind of hard to take in how little the return is. Like, wow, you did that for $10,000 fucking dollars?
Yeah. Pat Lang, this and I'm speaking freely here, Pat, but I of course here's why none of that makes sense. Someone, if Biden was actually that calculated, he would have never stepped down. It's always his choice. I'm not suggesting there was a gun put to Biden's head and he was told, hey, step down or we're going to kill you.
I told you before he stepped down how they were going to get him out. And all it takes is the donors aren't there.
Or we're going to do the 20.
They were having money problems. And the big donors were done.
Or threaten his son. Or threaten his son. Or do what's the amendment where you
you tell them that you fucked this up and you're not going to be able to protect your son.
Then there's the 25th Amendment. They could have told him, hey, right, Pat, there's other ways.
They told him that was coming.
Yeah. So when you say I don't disagree with you, but I think that you're I don't think it's that black and white. Yeah, of course he stepped down. He
wouldn't have survived a loss of the party and a 25th Amendment challenge spearheaded by his VP and all of the cabinet. And the DNC could get everyone he appointed to turn on him.
Please ask Greg what set of books he uses to teach his kids. You mentioned it before. I thought I saved it, but can't find it. Sorry. I saw your DM, by the way.
I'm all over the map on that. I think I've purchased everything that I can. I've kind of done a deep dive on various curricula.
What's the critical thinking one, though, they're talking about?
The critical thinking companies stuff I like best. And if I had to go with a publisher and use only their material, that's exactly what it would be. Critical Thinking Company. And what I like about their material, a lot of it's really creative. In fact, some of my favorite is by this guy. And I think I got 2 books of his that are kind of cool right here.
Geez, they have everything, man. Join our global community of critical thinkers, 70,000 schools, 120 countries, 36 million students.
Hey, I got all that early reader stuff that my dad and I all got, my little red storybook. But Understanding Fractions and Funtime Phonics are both written by this Robert Femiano. And he's a gifted educator. His approach to fraction education is really good. And his phonics is powerful too. But the publisher, the Critical Thinking Company, we got our hands on everything they've printed, and it's hundreds of books, and they're all outstanding. And so if you didn't know the material or what you wanted to teach quite, or you really need that backup, and I think most people would and do, I would just buy their catalog. And what did it cost? Like $2,000, something like that, Sebi?
Yeah, I want
to get everything.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Now, what there is, the Critical Thinking Company, everything is skill-based. So you're learning how to do things, right?
Yes.
The reading comprehension material is outstanding. All their stuff, that's an amazing company. I I flirted with buying them.
I remember that. I remember
Still
that.
would. I just don't want to get. The more I pester them about it, the higher the price goes, right?
Right. Hey, I want to read something to you. Do you have time?
Well, I just want. Yeah, I do. But I want to add this to that
Please.
about the Critical Thinking Company. All of their material, it's all skill based, and so my thought is, and I kind of put skills on a x-axis and knowledge on the y-axis, and it seems to me that people kind of get pegged to the ordinate or the abscissa oddly. Like there's the Jeopardy champion, and they don't seem to have reasoning skills, and then there's the mathematician that doesn't know what state he lives in. You can be absent-minded but high-skilled and precocious as hell, but no thinking ability. And what I'm doing is we're just teaching skills, and then I contextualize them against facts. And so you need to be able to read and write about anything, but that requires you read and write what? And so the Western canon is how I contextualize it. And all these math, qualitative and quantitative skills contextualize in applied sciences. And so we're learning things through the skills we're acquiring, and the emphasis is on skill above everything else.
And you don't have to be homeschooling your kid to get those books. You can get one or two of those books and sit down at breakfast with them. What I would recommend also is get something that is going to be easy for them below their skill level, especially if your kid's already in school, and sit down with them and make the first book a slam dunk. Do a few pages a day, just sitting at the table. One of the things I was talking with Greg about is I had this kindergarten math book.
Yeah, balance.
And I went through it with my kid that it was way too easy for him, but I made it a reading book. He didn't know that I was teaching him to read. He thought we were doing math. He even said to me, he's like, "Is this retard math?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Oh, thanks. This is easy." But he didn't know. We went through the whole book, but it was just, I was tricking him just to read all the instructions and learn how to follow instructions. And so there's tons of ways to skin a cat, and don't not get those books if you're not homeschooling your kids. Still get one, make it fun for them, reward them, pat them on the back, celebrate all his successes.
On the back of them, they have some of the titles. And what I would do is pick anything that seemed interesting to you, share it with your kid, work your way through it. And then I would get another one from the same company, and I would make it on a entirely different field. So I'd try and roll between the qualitative and quantitative, language skills and computational skills. And you won't go wrong. You can't miss. But their reading comprehension stuff, it's gnarly.
Yeah.
That can be really, really tough. Really tough.
It's even tough for me when they're doing the reading comprehension stuff. They're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Oh God, I got to read this like 4 times before I can even answer this question."
Like, this is wrong. Why wouldn't it be the white kitten? And I'm reading and I go, "Oh shit."
Right.
Okay, how am I going to explain this to you? I mean, it's brilliant, brilliantly done. You're making critical thinkers of people.
Stephen Dix, go ahead, finish.
I got to share this.
Yeah, please.
It's
Kevin Killian. Is he Armenian?
He's dead. Selected Amazon reviews. It's one of the more impressive, brilliant things I've ever read. This fucking guy over like 15 years pens thousands of Amazon reviews. Most of them are 5 stars, but it ranges everything from fucking baby oil to the movie Casablanca.
Yeah.
And they're brilliant. And he adds characters, and it's I don't know, you can't even draw the line between whether it's fiction or not, because he speaks of a wife that he doesn't have and kids that he doesn't have. But he tells great stories, and he said that in the review of some movie, he said that it was hugely improved, and maybe it was Casablanca or something. But he said that before he bought the movie, someone told him to get the Hepburnator, and you might not know what that is, but it will automatically remove Katharine Hepburn from any scene she's in a movie, and it was one of the best purchases he ever made. And Amazon got crushed with people looking for the Hepburnator. But he says that watched with the Heparinator utility that Casablanca became the best movie ever made. And I was just like, and this said 5 stars, right?
Is there really such a device that
No.
takes that? No.
No.
Okay.
No. Another one, he
ahead.
says he wanted to get a book, and you can just open it up anywhere, and it's just delightful. But he ordered a book, and what came was a similar title, and he explains, but this is what I got, and I really wanted this, and a completely new subject. Then he gives this like 2,000 word review that's brilliant on the fucking wrong book he got.
That's awesome. Hey, they're all sorry. Are they all his reviews?
Yes.
And they're on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And the book's an Amazon runaway seller now. And there's this discussion like, what is this, self-publishing? And of course, you want to review that book, right?
Yeah.
The reviews across products, buddy. I mean, and it's over 1 million words. This guy chose that medium to flex extraordinarily powerful and creative writing muscle. And it's one of the cleverest fucking. I told Emily, I'm rarely jealous of a writer. This guy, I am. Wish I'd thought of that. What a great platform. And you've got it. Before anyone bought the book, they'd seen the reviews. You know what he caused Amazon to do? They had their top 100 reviewers, and he was like number 4. They eliminated that whole list, and they're no longer celebrating their reviewers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a lot of it is anti-Amazon shit.
Right.
It's funny. He's like, anytime he mentions Amazon Prime, it's like, here it goes, right?
Hey, how are you on time? Do you need a pee break or anything? I got a couple.
No, I'm good, actually.
Okay. Thank you, Greg, for CrossFit has changed my life. What blood test would Greg recommend on a yearly basis? I'm 55 years young in the United Kingdom. PSA, HB, A1C, etc.
You know, I'm not going to recommend any of them, but I know that if you look at inflammation and you have, and I know Sears people do this, you find someone that can give you a EPA to arachidonic acid test, and that will speak clearly to inflammation. A1C for sure, and what's the other one? Triglyceride to HDL ratio. If you make any one of those numbers pretty, the other two will be pretty. And if you don't eat excessive carbohydrate or refined carbohydrate, you'll get that there too without any test. And so when Sears told us that not many people I knew would get the EPA to arachidonic acid level at 1, and so we donated Jimmy Letchford, and he got a 1, which is consistent with the claim that there'd be no inflammatory processes underway. Yeah, I did. Eat right and exercise, and don't go to the doctor and don't get your blood tested.
There may be a chance that there may be a higher chance of being diagnosed with something that you don't have than something you do have. Diagnosed is a really bizarre word.
If you're not going to do something about your blood pressure, then I have to nod to your antihypertensives. If you're going to keep your blood sugar sky high, I understand why your doctor doesn't want you eating salt. But the salt's not your problem. The problem is your elevated blood sugar. And your elevated blood sugar, through the insulin's inhibition of aldosterone, prevents the kidneys from pulling the sodium out of your fucking system. And as soon as your blood sugar drops, your urine becomes salty. And we have a different problem. I've got this problem of orthostatic hypotension. You've been zoning or paleoing or carnivoring, pick your fucking strategy for carb restriction, but you get up in the middle of the night to head to the bathroom and you fall. We saw that. if you cut your blood sugar, you better make sure you're getting some salt in your diet. If your blood sugar is too high, the salt's poisoning you now. And other processes are underway that are killing you.
That's a great, David, we just pointed out a great example of using your own discernment. So I sit around and tell you for 2 hours a day how smart I am. And then I say something like, hey, is the hepainator real? And then you can be like, well, Sevon's lying to us. Don't trust my words. Watch my actions. A great example. Thank you, Mr. Weed. Okay.
You know, let me tell you what my station in life is now. I get to explain the works of people much, much more intelligent than I am, where there's a critical need for their work being introduced to the lay public. And it looks like I'm going to be capable of doing something that the people that originated the material weren't able to do. The likes of Anton Garrett and Jim Franklin and those folks, they can't believe that I want to do this. This is that, first of all, that someone would want to do it, and that I'm actually drawing people around, and that it's happening. They're in absolute amazement. I'm also trying to communicate. You remember my father's horrible lecture on p-values at CrossFit Health?
Yeah.
My solution to that is that this is very, very important. And what we need to do is we need to correct our children's education beginning at the 4th grade. And the things that I want to teach 4th graders, I'm going to teach on this weekend in January. And you can see some of it here. I mean, I'm just playing with how many different versions of the probability of A given B is not the same as the probability of B given A. And you can stumble across actually created derivation, therefore a proof of Bayes' theorem. And I can do this with children. With children. It's so cool that my kids instinctively understand the difference between the probability of it raining, given that it's cloudy, and they'll tell you, well, it's cloudy a lot, but it doesn't rain much, versus what is the probability that it's cloudy given it's raining? Rhett goes, it never rains without clouds. So one of them's low, one's high. They're not the same, right? And yet that exact error is at the heart of our replication crisis, and that is this jump from the probability of the evidence given a hypothesis to the probability of a hypothesis given the evidence, just magically claiming that. And how widespread is it? It's fucking almost universal. It's a disease of jurisprudence, the prosecutor's fallacy. Look it up. And I could start at the 4th grade, and by the 8th grade, there's no way you do that. And by the 12th grade, you'd be able to lecture on it. Explain to your doctor why it is that your mammogram, your bad mammogram, still only has a 7% chance of being anything of significance. Emily's just torturing doctors with that.
You think a doctor can go through his whole career and no one point that out to him? I think they can.
Yes.
Completely
yes. In fact,
oblivious.
if you look at fallacy of the inverse or confusion of the inverse, the Wikipedia article, they reference a study where 95 physicians were given the binary diagnostic standard sensitivity, specificity for a test and a condition, and the prevalence of the condition, and asked what the odds are of the patient having the condition on the positive, and 90. It was more than 9 out of 10, and it was 100 physicians. They almost entirely, the whole mess of them got it wrong.
It's almost like going to a martial arts academy for 20 years and not being able to beat anyone up after you get out. It's like being a physician that doesn't know that for 20 years or 30 years. It's like
my Remington popped positive for cystic fibrosis. And of course you shit your pants. And so immediately I know, because I'm teaching this stuff, I find the positive predictive value and find it's around 5%. So that means 95 people are told their kid has cystic fibrosis, and 100 are told, and 5 do, and 95 don't. Our friend Katina says, ignore all that shit. She goes, you're not that lucky. There's only 150,000 people in the world with that shit. You're a lucky man, but not like that. It's a funny thing. Why do it that way? What's the value in that? Well, you wouldn't believe the genetic screening that they want us to do now. Getting inundated. They're going to spend thousands of dollars sending me shit trying to get me on the hook to, just in postage. For a disease with no effective treatment.
Right.
The kid before that was told she had a incontinentia pigmenti. Went home and cried. Looked it up. Couldn't believe it.
What is it?
It's a genetic defect. It's a fucking horrible thing. It's like the physician that told me cried when he told me. Gave me his home phone number and his cell phone number. He goes, this is going to be hard to bear, but we'll talk. I'm here for you. It was all bullshit. She didn't have shit. 2 kids in a row in a 3-year period, both diagnosed with worst case scenario diseases. And by the way, Reason does not have incontinentia pigmenti. She's perfectly fine. Oh boy, would we know by now.
Fuck, that's gnarly.
It's the system, man.
Hey, that was like a friend of mine who is
when that moron shot the United Healthcare guy,
yeah,
I knew why immediately. And if anyone thinks I'm justifying it, you're fucking stupid. He deserves the full force of whatever the law can do to him. I'd put Luigi at Rikers with P. Diddy.
Right.
Perfect.
His parents are fucking filthy rich.
We were just in Baltimore taking a little tour of Baltimore with a Baltimore SWAT cop farmer. Great guy. And Jordan, super dude, CrossFitter. And he was taking us into the bad areas. Then we went to the good part. And the good part's fucking cool.
Yeah.
And right till you get to the good part, it's like Miami. Like in that neighborhood we were at in Miami, it's gate guarded, but anyone can go through. You pull up, the gate raises and lowers, and your picture's taken, right?
Right.
But as soon as you get in, at every intersection, there's a cop car with the lights on. And we had several nights cop car in our driveway of this rental on the water. And you get 5-6 cars flashing red and blue in your neighborhood on the corners, and there'll be no crime.
Right.
It's like a bug zapper of the ultimate efficiency,
His parents are rich from healthcare, the healthcare industry. I think his parents own like nursing homes and shit.
They've probably been telling him the truth about the disease economy. Trump wanted this full disclosure thing that the hospitals had to tell what they share, what they bill, and what they're paid by insurance. Uh-huh. And there was no facet of healthcare that didn't fight that. The big secret is that your insurance claims that they paid $2,000 of your $3,000 MRI, but what they really paid was $200.
Right.
And you think, thank God I got insurance because I never could have afforded these bills. When in fact your copay and your premiums cover the costs of your treatment. You know where the insurance companies make their money?
Where?
It's their investments with your premium. So you give them money and they run to the market with it. They put it in Vanguard. And by the time you get paid, that delta between what you've paid them and what Vanguard return easily covers your expenses. if everyone in the community pays $10 a month to make sure that their house is covered if it catches on fire, and the guy that's collecting the $10 a month eventually has the nicest house that's ever been seen in the town. People don't realize that you're on average, we all pay our medical bills, whether you give it to the insurance company first or not.
And what better way to tell you that it was more expensive than it really was so that you feel good about it?
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's a well-kept secret. I couldn't figure out how it was that this deadhead, freaky fucking doctor that's got the little exam table with the stirrups going on and a Grateful Dead paraphernalia and a door, and it was like a 10-foot by 10-foot office. He came recommended to us as the best internal medicine guy in private practice. And as soon as we got in here, he's like, "You gonna look at my pussy in here?" She goes, "Well, if we need to, we can pull the blinds down." And I'm like, "It was the rippiest fucking place." It was like your teenage, your 35-year-old lives at home son's room, and he had this big shock of gray hair. And then I start looking, and like the guys I see on the walls, I can tell he's faculty at UC San Diego, internal medicine. He says, "Not only that, I sit on the medical quality assurance board. When doctors get their license taken away, I'm one of the 5 guys that does that."
Oh, that's crazy.
So I'm like, wow, And he goes, "It's a great system here." He goes, "Look, you got a sore throat. Use your iPhone, take a picture in the mirror and text it to me.
Yeah.
And I'll hook you up with the CVS. It's cheap." And he says, "If you need an MRI, with your insurance, I'll send you over to Scripps, but we'll have to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and it's going to cost you $1,000, and they're going to be billed. It's going to cost you $1,000 copay on a $3,000 MRI." He goes, "I can send you over right now, and it's going to cost you $200 cash." And I just assumed it was some crooked thing where he was doing some backroom bullshit.
Yeah.
Like he knows the MRI tech, and you come in the back door, special knock, and they let you in and sneak you in, and they're ripping off the hospital. No, It's not that. They only get $200. When I told my dad that, he says, "You know why they're happy with $200? I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because it doesn't cost them 3 cents to make that image. The machine's been paid off so long ago that it's a burst of electricity. It costs more to run your hair dryer."
Crazy.
So it's like getting $3,000 every time you flip the switch. You can't. You can only get 200. But we'll tell you it was 3,000, so you feel good about your premiums.
I'll never forget when I had a urinary tract infection. I was probably in my 20s, and I was peeing glass at 3 a.m. Went to John Muir Medical. Went in there. I was in and out in 2 hours. They put a needle that was this long in my ass, like to my hip bone. I felt it like hit. The lady's like, "Hey, this is going to feel like nothing you've ever felt before." Put it up against like the bone there, injected it in, and I was out and I was healed. And the bill came, was $15,000. 2 hours I was in and out. Oh, something sounds wrong with the phone. Hello? Hello? Oh, hold on. Yeah, we got the. It's crazy how I have to reconnect the phone every time. Did you hear how he sounded like he was 100 feet tall with the deepest voice ever?
No, I didn't. That didn't come over.
Oh, he's like, "Hello, Sevy. Hello? Hello? Hey, talk.
Hey. You there?
Yeah.
So this is Dusty. We've been talking about my wife having our baby 3 months early in the hospital. We got her delivery bill the other day, and we have a bill share, so it's not insurance. It's just a conglomerate of people that we pay each other's bills, right? So we're a cash patient. The cash bill we got was $2,000. The itemized bill that they would have charged insurance was $33,000.
You should give a plug for your
Wow.
your plan by name. I would. I'd be proud of that.
Samaritans Ministries.
Samaritan Ministries.
Yes.
Yeah, good. You only hear good things about those plans, and they're all Christian based. And you know what's so cool? I like the way they promote them. They got a guy that talks like I talk. You know, it's not
CrossFit
that.
have one of those now? Is that the same thing CrossFit's doing now? CrossFit has something where you pay $55 a month, and if someone gets hurt in the plan, everyone ponies up an extra $155 or something weird. I wonder if it's similar.
Nice.
So you love it. You recommend it. What did you call it? The Samaritan what?
Samaritan Ministries. I 100% recommend it.
Yeah, that's cool. And is there a monthly?
We were
pay?
going into it.
Is there a monthly?
Yeah.
Payment?
So somebody else like breaks a leg, right?
Yeah.
It depends on how many people in your family. We pay, I think, $500 a month for a family of 4 now.
And then when you had a baby, it only cost you $2,000.
It cost us $500. What would have been our share for that month?
Okay. So I see what you're saying. So no matter what, you just pay $500 a month. You had a baby,
right?
The baby only cost $2,000, but you didn't have to pay that because you pay that monthly $500. But you're saying that same bill through an insurance would have been $30,000.
Correct.
Wow. Okay, I get it. Wow.
And I can't wait. I can't wait to get the bill for the 76 days in the NICU.
How do you know that? Where did you get the information that it would have been $30,000?
They wanted an itemized receipt. They sent that with the insurance prices on it.
How's
because
go ahead.
Baby's doing great. He's on a little
good.
bit of oxygen, but he's home and sucking on titties and being a baby.
Oh, that's awesome. I love hearing the sucking on the titties. That is so good. It's a complete breast milk baby. That's all the baby eats.
Yep.
Oh, dude, you're stoked. Congratulations. Tell your wife congratulations. Oh, yeah. You guys did it. Good job.
Absolutely. But going back to that, apparently it was in maybe the Obamacare bill that insurance companies could only profit 10% of what they pay out. I may be completely wrong on that. So how do you generate more revenue? You pay out more. So the hospitals and the insurance companies are all in on it together.
Right.
I mean, hell yeah, the hospitals go like, yeah, we'll bill you more, no problem.
Right.
Insurance companies make more. So it's a.
Yeah, they're never going to take a loss. Hey, that's the big problem. That's going to be the big thing with the Trump presidency, by the way. The thing is, what we have cannot be fixed. It has to be taken down. You saw that Obama tried to do a fix, and they just work around it. The system we have is broken. We have it's not our bicycle has a flat tire and we can have put a new tire on it. It's just the ground we're riding on is not conducive to bike riding. We're out
I saw this on Fox the other day. Under Obama, or since Obamacare, and this is from Gallup, the number of Americans that are happy with their health care went from 71% to like 42%.
Yeah,
that's what a fix Obamacare was.
By the way, you warned us of that. I remember when I first started working at CrossFit in 2006, you used to talk about, hey, the health industry is in trouble. It was a steady drumbeat. You'd be like, hey, dude, your health is more important than you think for all the reasons we're talking about. It's just that the services are going to plummet to help you anyway, other than you helping yourself. You were always saying that. And I remember the Obamacare shit, you were like, oh, fuck. It's a race to the bottom. Hey, thanks for calling.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone was speaking yesterday on some show on Fox of the quality of healthcare in the National Health Service in Great Britain, and the reporter just jumped down this guy's throat, saying that her stepmother suffered with a urinary tract infection in Great Britain for 18 weeks before being able to see someone.
Oh, I don't know how you would do that. 1 hour of it.
Imagine that.
If you've never had one, it's like peeing glass. is the worst feeling of all time. I would have done anything. I would have given them my car, like my arm, to cure me. Yeah, that's insane. But by the way, to put in context of what we were talking about with Dusty, as a parent, if you don't have kids, you don't know this, but as a parent, one of the greatest things you can see in a newborn is them eating healthy food and shitting. As long as your kid is breastfeeding and pissing and shitting, you're like, that's like the ultimate litmus test as a parent. I can't tell you how happy it makes any parent feel to see their kid eat and then defecate. As long as they're doing that, you're like, yeah, we're good. Matthias Porter. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something to that, Greg?
Yeah, I saw glycation there. We got to talk about that for sure. But this is Maggie and I's fifth baby, and the milk production on the carnivore diet is absolutely breathtaking. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, the milk drops and both titties are just spraying with no stim, just literally just squirt.
Oh, that's good. Send me a video, please. Matthias Porter. Hey, Greg, I was looking into glycation and AGES. I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
And
advanced glycated end product.
Okay. An article said that meat and nuts are high in AGES, meaning to stay away from them. Is such an article misleading? I
think it is. Look, it's like cholesterol. The cholesterol that's occluding arteries is endogenously produced. It's not the cholesterol you're eating. It's the cholesterol you're manufacturing. And that's what is a I forget the molecule's name. It'll come to me if I don't want to know it. But I'm not worried about eating glycated products. And maybe I should be, but I'm not. I'm worried about that process undergoing in my body, and that is the covalent bonding of sugar to protein. And I would believe that at the point that it's a advanced glycated end product, that it has lost the ability to glycate. I mean, the end product kind of says that. And I don't want those things forming in my brain. And I don't want my blood cells glycating to the point where the insulin molecule has trouble conforming to the receptor site. And I don't want that loss of cell membrane motility through glycation. I don't want it killing the vasa vasorum that feed the arteries of my heart, so that my artery has to lay down plaque to keep the artery from dissecting. I believe that the whole of the atherosclerotic deposits and calcification and plaquing, I believe that that's going to be seen eventually as a protective mechanism for an artery that's lost blood supply. And that would make heart disease and diabetes fundamentally the same issue. Damn.
Did you ever have the sickness bad? I had it bad. Did you ever lose your voice like I did?
Something, I've got a headache that I recognize,
mm-hmm.
and a cough that I recognize. I think I've got the COVID again.
Yeah, I assume I have the COVID too. I lost my voice when I was in high school once with like strep, and then I lost it, what I'm assuming was COVID, a couple of years ago, and then I lost it again on our trip.
What I do is I have the person that gave it to me get tested, and then the people I give it to, they can go test. And I'm pretty sure if I hung out you and I got sick and you tested, and then one of my kids gets it, we have them tested, yep, I got COVID.
It's weird how it manifests different. Ari has a stomach ache, you have a headache, and I lost my voice. I feel good though. I don't feel like my energy supplies are down.
I think we're seeing in my family the same bug is giving some people respiratory and others vomiting.
Yeah.
And I'm sympathetic because I feel a little of that, but not enough to puke.
Okay, I want to read this to you here. This is from Matthew Boudreau's Instagram. He's the guy from he has those cool schools. Fuck, I can't remember the name of them. Where the kids run the schools, right? That your schooling is to have a job at the school and run the school, right? I forget the name of it. You would know it. I know that Metfix and BSI have talked to these people and had good interaction. But he writes this. This is George Orwell explaining and revealing 1944 letter why he'd write 1984. There is the fact that the intellectuals are more totalitarian in outlook than the common people. On the whole, the English intelligentsia have opposed Hitler, but only at the price of accepting Stalin. Most of them are perfectly ready for dictatorial methods, secret police, systematic falsification of history, etc., so as long as they feel that it is on our side. And the key words there are feel and our side. And I'm just like, it seems to completely explain the Trump derangement syndrome. They're willing to accept anything as long as they feel like it's on their side. Anything.
You've heard all you need to hear when you witness trumped up charges to imprison a man as a necessary step to protect democracy. Otherwise, he'll get elected president. I mean, I'm good now. I get it. I fully get it. I've got Karl Popper in the same position, by the way. He just confronted with an absolute perfect inconsistency and contradiction. He describes it as a problem and then attributes a solution to it that comes from his will, where he says that it is what it isn't, and it's done. And he actually says, and that's that in German. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing right there. I found also one of the academic guys saying that it was Lakatos saying that there should be voting in scientific affairs just as there are in man's other affairs. Just openly calling for consensus. By the way, our system of government was designed to protect us from the intrusion of religion into matters of state and majorities. We have a system of government designed to protect all of us from majorities. And it doesn't include imprisoning the opposition's candidate. It comes about through the limiting of the state, what the state can do.
I just made a note that needs to be clipped.
Buckley describes socialism as A and B deciding what C should do for D. And the process is perfectly democratic. And it threatens every one of your liberties. And you know you're talking to a poorly educated, weak thinker in proportion to the focus and attention they give to democracy. All these people, our democracy, protect democracy, save democracy, we're gonna be less democratic. All those are all fools. And in their ranks are the very people that want to take your liberty and really don't give a fuck about democracy or how it's done. It was give me liberty or give me death. It wasn't let me vote or kill me. And these are things we can explain to our children. And we didn't for a few generations, and we're going to pay dearly for it. It's time to get back up and say the Pledge of fucking Allegiance. And if you don't know why, I'll tell you why we're doing it. And until you would rather die than be a slave, you're at risk of enslavement.
You know, some people feel safety being slaves. I can almost every time I see someone defending something, the phrase I like to use is they're defending the plantation because they like the nurturing.
Yeah, I mean, so here you are on the plantation. Hey, what are you gonna do tomorrow? I think I'm gonna pick cotton.
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, it makes it kind of straightforward.
Yeah, you have security.
Did they get weeks off? Were there vacations and shit?
No.
Was it 7-day-a-week stuff?
Not only that, but the argument from the South was that the North lacked compassion because if you let the slaves free, they would die. They would perish on their own. It's the same mentality currently coming from the left. If we don't take care of these fucking idiots, they don't know how to use a computer, they'll die. If we require an ID, they won't be able to vote. It's all out of compassion.
It's not. None of it's sincere
or true.
Correct.
There's such an abundance here. No one dies here in the United States. There's such an abundance. We just had someone on the show the other day who was talking about you can go behind any supermarket still to this day, first thing in the morning, and pull out some of the best food in the world that's still fucking wrapped in plastic. And not only that, everything's free in San Francisco anyway. Mike Sandone, I had a private insurance plan before Obamacare, December 2012. It was $495 for my wife, my 6-month-old son, and me. January 2013, 1 month later, it was $1,595, and my son had to have maternity care covered. That same thing happened to my sister. It basically just it fucked all the poor people.
Let's see what happens. I think we have some better leadership.
It was
funny how jovial and friendly the Bidens were with a guy they called Hitler.
Oh, you mean recently in France? Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine getting a chance to meet Hitler and just, oh my God, dude, those are the coolest boots I've ever seen. You painted that? No way. We ran a Good Housekeeping article where they went and interviewed Hitler in like 35 or whatever. Do you remember that? We put that on CrossFit.com.
Yeah, I remember.
That did not go over well.
I liked it.
Dude, they were talking about how wonderful he was. Finally, we have an artist is a world leader, and explain it like Goebbels is a poet and Hitler paints and he's a great cook and he loves dogs and children.
Yeah.
They were celebrating their bohemian nature. It was the jazz age. And we finally got a cool, it was like you put I don't know what it shit on any celebrities, but
saying slaves have Sunday off is like saying prisoners have Sunday off. Just shut it, Trish.
That's all right.
No, but not by me. Not all right. It was 1.7. Here's another mistake. Not everyone owned a slave. Like you didn't go up to everyone's house and like some black lady answered the door. It was 1.7% of the U.S. population owned slaves. It was a very small amount.
Made my family's life hell.
Yeah.
Kept them in poverty. And they weren't enslaved. They couldn't afford slaves.
Right.
And so they had to compete against goods and services conducted by people that had no choice but to do it. And the non-slave owning South, like the Baptists, were eager to see slavery ended. Eager. it forces a reality on farmers of subsistence level farming, because there is no market where you can compete against someone who's growing tomatoes with slaves.
Right.
You're not going to get your tomato to market. The best you can be able to do is eat it. And in fact, it forced an alliance between my mother's family and the Trailer family. Was their last name.
Wow.
And my family worked alongside them for multiple generations. In fact, Sammy and I were friends. Fanny was my mom's friend. Fanny's mother was my grandmother's friend. And they lived together on the same piece of land, and they sharecropped jointly. That is, they farmed some acreage, 10% of which they were allowed to keep for themselves. And it wasn't to get it to market. So it took the Trailer family, his 6 or 8 kids, and my grandma and grandpa's 8 kids, and all the adults working, farm and cattle to feed themselves. And they had everything. They lived nicely in terms of food, and they were healthy. But it was there was nothing. If your kids didn't go away to college, they were kind of fucked. And they all did.
Meaning they'd be tilling the earth.
Well, the system can't expand. We're not going to get more land. My grandparents didn't become landowners until they had a son go off to medical school. And then a second son become a chemist. Another son become a physician. And it was from there that the family was able to get its hands on a couple hundred acres. All right. When am I going to see you next? January.
No, sooner than later. No, I think I'm going to see you before then.
Okay, I'm gonna come around. I've got this. I'm gonna run down to Costa Rica on Sunday and come back like Wednesday or something with them all. And then we've got Aunt Rosemary's party, and that gets me back here on the 22nd. I think shortly after Christmas, I'm gonna hightail it to Santa Cruz.
Good.
So
I think what we were planning on meeting up on Christmas, the day after Christmas. Tentatively, you and I had talked, yeah. So I blocked off basically the 26th, the 26th to the 34th.
Cool.
Which would be January 3rd or whatever.
So, I went from, I don't know if I mentioned this in the show or not here. It's all a blur, but I went from Scottsdale to LA to London, London to Marrakesh, Marrakesh to London, London to Charlotte, Charlotte to Miami, Miami to Baltimore, Baltimore to Scottsdale, Scottsdale to Atlanta, Atlanta back to Scottsdale in a 12, 13-day period.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
And then you were supposed to go to Costa Rica yesterday, but you didn't.
Yeah.
You pulled the ripcord.
Yeah, I got sick.
Well, you got shit to do. You got to prepare.
Hey, she would have thought I was faking if they didn't get sick. She didn't want to go. We've traveled enough now that Maggie doesn't want to go anywhere. So I'm really excited. We're like canceling trips.
Yeah, bring the family out here, dude. I guess it's hard to leave Arizona in the winter.
I'm going to get my bus.
Oh, good.
That'll be ready in another month or so.
Hey, and I don't think it started snowing yet in Tahoe either.
I would take this anywhere.
Yeah.
4-wheel drive.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. That's where it's at right now. It's getting a modest lift, and it's getting 4-wheel drived.
Oh, wow.
Hey, we're using the federal government standards for the busing they provide for the Inuit up in the Arctic region of Alaska.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so I'm making the same bus. One of these buses rolled end over end at a ski resort down a 1,500-foot gorge, and not a single window popped out. Everyone in it got hospitalized, but all with non-life-threatening injuries.
Wow. Yeah, that's
pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's very cool. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the safest vehicles on the road. It's so safe that NHTSB doesn't require seatbelts. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. All right. I got to pee.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you,
Thanks,
Seth.
Greg. I'll talk to you later today.
All right, dude.
Ciao. Greg Glassman, great show. Wow. That blew by 2 hours and 25 minutes. I will be back in 90 seconds. I'm going to give a dissertation on the phrase living rent-free in someone's head. If you'd like to hear that, I will be doing a free service to all people on the internet.
Because of CrossFit, I've been able to become a mom, and that's not something I ever expected to do. Every endometriosis diagnosis is different, but there was a time in my life where it was really bad. I couldn't bring groceries in without being in pain. I couldn't hold my husband's hand without triggering chronic nerve pain, and I gave up that dream of becoming a mom because I knew that with endometriosis I was going to struggle with fertility and didn't want to risk being that kind of mom that wasn't present physically for my daughter when those inflammation flare-ups happen. And me and my husband went through the process of grieving and accepting that. The main priority was like my quality of life and can I manage the inflammation and not be in pain. I actually started CrossFit as like a last resort because the other options of surgery or narcotics, it just didn't sound like a viable solution for me without accepting some of the long-term damage that would come with that. And so just decided, you know what, I'm just going to try CrossFit and see what can be done. And it slowly helped build up a lot of strength and helped manage my anxiety and my hormones. Little did I know, as I was improving my health over the years, that my body was going to become fit enough to become pregnant, and made it possible for me to have her, because here she is.
Ram Productions. Two Brain Business affiliate contest. Man, the gift that keeps giving and giving and giving. This will be it's kind of be a mix on current internet behaviors. You'll learn about what it means to live rent-free in someone's head, the definition of that. How to butt fuck someone on the internet and get paid, the difference between living rent-free in someone's head and actually getting paid to butt fuck your other people in your space. So I don't remember exactly where the story started, but I'm going to start it here. There was a post Barbell Spin did yesterday, and I went in the comments and slapped John Woolley around a little bit, ass pounded him a little bit. And John Woolley's the guy who has this Instagram account here. This Woolly Mammoth account. Bald dude, speaks in a very like effeminate voice. Simps to Danny Spiegel, Nikki Brazer. Kind of like our. He's kind of like our CrossFit cuck. I would say. You know what I mean? Like he's the fembot in the ecosystem. I'm gonna look up. I haven't done this yet. I'm gonna look up living rent free in your head, and I'm gonna give you a definition here, and then I don't know if this is Woolley's definition. He uses the term a lot, but I'm gonna go with it. This is Google's AI definition. Living rent free in your head is a slang phrase that means someone or something is constantly occupying your thoughts, often without your conscious effort, as if they're living in your mind without paying any mental rent. Essentially, you can't stop thinking about them, even if it might be a positive thing. And so I saw it twice in his responses that he was saying that I was that he was living rent free. This Woolley guy, this Mammoth guy, that he was living rent free in my head. That was his response after I ass pounded him on Instagram. And
I'm sure he voted for Kamala and he believes in Bidenomics, but to be very, very clear, the economics behind it are not that he's living rent free in my head. It's that I get paid to butt fuck him. He is his relevancy is, to me, is he's more of a muse. I see him more as like I put cheese in the mousetrap and catch him in it, and then take his carcass and feed it to my young. That's more of the economics I see. But anyway, getting back to the we have different economic views of the model, but this guy says that I'm living rent free in his head. So he says I'm preoccupied about him. And I went over to his story, and there was, they're gone already. Oh, no, here they are. Maybe they're here. I went over to his story, and there's 3 stories about me. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 4 stories about me. Maybe there's more. Let's see if there's more. 5, 6, 7 stories about me in his Instagram. But he's living rent free in my head. Then there's a fucking post. There's a post about me. And it says, I feel guilty living rent free in this guy's head in this economy. Seven stories in a post. And if that's not enough for you, he made an entire video about me. Not only did he make an entire video about me, but before he went on his Thanksgiving vacation, he made another post saying, I'll be responding to something I said somewhere else after I give it a week to think about it. There's this weird, not weird isn't the right word, very simplistic psychological evaluation you can do on people where, hey, everything that person's saying about me, they're saying about themselves. How much fucking time has this guy given to thinking about me? 7 stories in the last 24 hours, a YouTube video, a post saying where he's going to think about it a week, a post. He made a comment in that post. In that post he did, he was referencing the fact that I liked my own comment, or I liked my own post, or I liked my own thing. He's internet policing me on etiquette of how to react to of what you can and can't do when you post something. First of all, I like everything I post, or I try to. I post something, I hit the heart. I comment something, I hit the like. But this is the most insincere person in the CrossFit space. This is a guy who responds to every comment that someone comments to him with an insincere response just to help the algorithm. So let me get this straight. I can't like my post, which you're a fucking idiot if you don't like your own post. I mean, like a moron. Why would you not like your own post? And yet he can comment. They'll like you'll click on one of his posts and it'll say 50 comments, but it's really 10 comments and he's responded to each one 5 times. But it's weird that I click a heart. I mean, Your entire existence is simping, dude, and you're a fucking populist. And how can you use that phrase living rent free? Was it me living rent free in his head or me? Whatever he said about me, him living rent free in my head. Listen, dude, you're welcome in my head anytime. I love butt fucking you. It is my pleasure. I enjoy it. I'm appreciative of you. I thank you. I love how easy this is that you make 7 posts, a fucking 7 stories, a post, and a fucking YouTube about me, but you're living rent free in my head. And of course you think you're living rent free. You're Bidenomics guy. And dude, even if you were living rent free in my head, how is that like, thank you. Then I thank you. Please pick up after yourself. Wooly has low T vibes. Yeah, of course. I do not like my own post on IG. That's kind of weird. Well, that's because you believe probably that you're feeling social pressure, like somehow it's weird. How would it be weird? Why did you even write it? Let me tell you what's weird. Posting anything on Instagram is fucking weird. Fighting with anyone on Instagram is weird. Commenting on anything is weird. Let me tell you what makes you a fucking cowardice cuck. Not liking your own post. So we've all already stepped into the faggotry of the internet. If you're commenting here or you're commenting on Instagram or on YouTube videos, dude, you're a fucking douche. But we've all accepted that. We've stepped into the douche world. You're fighting with some fucking rando living in a trailer in fucking Alabama about BLM. Like, listen. Don't tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, fucking this fucking Bank of America fucking executive spending his whole week thinking about me already makes him a fucking queer. I'm guilty too. I'm riding that cock all day. I'm a fucking cock guzzling faggot because I participate in the internet. I get it. But to like, you want in relativity to liking my own shit? No, it's the opposite. It's like having butt sex without a condom. How is it fucking creepy or weird to fucking like your own shit? You think it's creepier? Speaking of liking your own shit, you think it's creepy? Anyway, I'm gonna fucking argue with the tars. That's just a social. That's like some sort of weird bullshit etiquette. It's the exact opposite. If you ain't liking your own shit, then don't even fucking post it. Yeah, you automatically like your own post when you like it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, you should. I'm always bummed when I go back and look, I didn't do that. Yeah, you should always like your own post. Why wouldn't you like your own post? It's like that thing when people are like, that guy's an asshole. Why do you think that? Because he talks about himself in the third person. Like, who made that rule up? Who gives a fuck if someone talks about themselves in the third person? What do I give a fuck? What's the implication of that? Someone likes the smell of his own farts. Correct. No, I do not like the smell of my own shit. David Weed likes the smell of his own shit. I do like the smell of my own farts. Yeah, this is a good point, Bernie. Which one of us in here in the chat is really woolly? Yeah, that is a great point. And he's welcome here. 2 out of 10 for my rant or 2 out of 10 for my for smelling your own shit? I kind of wish he was a little more logical and wasn't such an easy target. He's like when I think of tussling with Wooly, it's like it reminds me of those hunters that like sit in blinds and shoot animals that are at feeders. And yeah, it's something about it feels a little inappropriate. Kenneth the Lap, just use your own name in the chat. It's more freeing than hiding, I would think. Yeah, that's the kind of freedom that most people don't want. They think they want that, and then it scares the shit out of them. What happened to Caved Astro? All right. So now you guys learned some shit. You learn the definition of living rent free in someone's head. You learn that if someone makes fucking 8 pieces of content sprinkled out through a week and then they say you're living rent free in their head, that they're fucking batshit crazy. You know that Wooly believes in Bidenomics. And that I'm prolapsing his anus between my ears right now. Oh, is that true, Cody? Cave only services when Dave services? All right. Love you guys. What is today? Today's Wednesday. Oh, I got a big I'm going to a really fucking cool party tonight that I've been really excited about all week. I'll tell you guys about it tomorrow. It's going to be cool. If you need stocking stuffers, make sure you go over to Matuthian. Matuthian.com. No, we don't have that. What is it? DocSpartan.com. Get your Matuthian now. Brian, great to see you this weekend, buddy. This past weekend. That was fun. Damn, Brian, we should have, I don't know, we should have drug you back to the hotel. We had a good time. I don't know why we didn't do that. I wasn't thinking. You should have invited yourself. CEO wristbands. Now available. Don't forget to get them. I can't wait to get mine. I should go over there. I was freezing in here. I forgot to turn the heat on this morning. VNDK8.com. By the way, Kill Taylor this week is Vindicate.com. Your connection is not private. Wow, that's crazy. When I tried to VNDK8.com. Oh, here we go. I think Kill Taylor's at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time this week. 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's $2,000. Accessories, partner, 7 podcast. Yeah, these. Oh, there's some nice shirts in there. Oh, by the way, everyone, if you're gonna pick a shirt, you're not sure which one to get. Everyone loves this shirt. This is the white and black relaxed tee. I got this shirt too. This shirt, the material of this shirt's amazing. This shirt's dope. This orange and is that orange and blue? Whenever I think of Audrey, she's wearing this one, and when I see her in my mind's eye, when Audrey's living rent free in my head, I always see her wearing this shirt. This shirt's really nice. I wear this shirt all the time. Mantra Athletics tee. The No Plan B with the black. This shirt is really nice. The black shirt with the gold lettering. Oh, there's a shirt down here for $10. I wear that shirt all the time. All right. One size fits all 5-inch sweatbands. Yeah, these are nice. These are dope. I always lose all my sweatbands. Oh, that's awesome. There's like 8 people at my gym that wear a CEO shirt. That's awesome. Tell them I said hi. All right, guys. I will see you guys later. I know I'm gonna have Oh Baby Beast back on soon. The dating show was a huge success. Should I take Avi to piano and then Marquetta so you can start with Joseph and Ari? Ari isn't feeling well. I sent that clip to you. Oh. Yesterday I was making fun of my wife for sending me bad shit on IG. And now she's like, hey, I sent you that clip of The View talking about boosters. Oh, wow. You guys want to see a crazy shirt? I wonder what the chances are of this shirt being made. This is J.R. Howell. So this is a crazy picture. So this is at Syndicate Crown. I guess we were doing a live show there, and JR needed a quiet place to go do it. So he went into a bathroom. So that's him on the Sevon podcast, just sitting on a toilet. God, I'd rock the shit out of it. Look how yoked JR looks there too. Look at his forearms. God, I need that shirt. I like the heart and the comments and the shares, dude. It's so cool. The colors. Man. Bathroom cam cap. I don't know who took that. Here we go. 30 more minutes. Oh, jeez. I ordered some Atuthian more than 2 weeks ago and it still hasn't arrived. No shit. Send something to the contact at Doc Spartan. I can text I can ask Dale what's up now. Want me just to call him on the air? Let's just call him. Fuck it. Let's see. If we call Dale King, what happens? Dale King. Let's call him. He's such a cool dude. He's one of the coolest. The Doc Spartan people are some of the coolest people ever. I'm not just saying that. He is really I really enjoy being around him in his presence. Oops.
Hello,
Dale King.
Uncle Savvy.
This is your business partner, Sevon Matosian. You helped me with grifting my tooth powder.
I am well aware.
One of my customers recently has texted me live on the air and said, I ordered some Atuthian more than 2 weeks ago and it still hasn't arrived. Should I tell him to go fuck himself?
Let's refrain from the fucking of oneself.
Okay. You're the businessman. I am not. I'm simply a humble monk who has a podcast.
And we will get to the root of the issue. We got slammed and we are digging ourselves out of the hole as we speak.
Oh, I slammed my wife last night. Getting slammed is wonderful. She loved it.
This is quite the customer service representative training you have. I love it.
Well, I enjoy doing business with you. And so you were saying the order is in the mail.
I don't know if it's in the mail yet, but it will be out by the end of this week.
Okay. I love having access to you. You're a great man. It was nice rubbing shoulders with you this weekend while eating our $250 steaks.
I assure you the pleasure was all mine.
All right. I love you and have a wonderful day.
Love you. We'll get them out.
All right. Bye. Dale King, CEO of Doc Spartan. There you go. All right. Simple as that. Thank you, Joseph. Hey, how stoked are you for I'd like to brush my teeth sooner. Listen, there is no better group than you could support. The guy's legit. The guy's so fucking cool. Served the country as a Marine. Runs what is it? Portsmouth CrossFit. Just a great guy. Would Dale let anyone talk to him like that? I don't know. He's a big dude too. He is a fucking man. His shoulders are probably. I have really wide shoulders. His shoulders are probably significantly wider than mine and so fucking thick. When you put your hand, you could set your beer on his shoulder. It's ridiculous. How are we still live? I don't know, because Putin hasn't nuked us. We as a group should go to Dale's annual workout thing. Yeah, and he throws a competition. Yeah, that would be cool. That's a great idea, Kevin. Yeah, he thick. Yeah, he thick. You're no small man yourself too. You got that fucking big CrossFit chest and shoulders. All right, guys. My son just hit me up and wants me to shave his head. So I got to do that. Let me see if there's any other breaking news for you. Oh, that's funny. Isn't translation funny? Let me leave you just with this little no, sorry, the show's not even close to being over. You guys want to see one more funny fucking thing? This is great. Here we go. Okay.
Learning the R word, we have demanded a school policy forbidding students and faculty from using that word.
Retard.
Excuse me.
Retard. You can't even say it. So how do we talk about it?
We all know your opinion on this, Jeremy, but right now I'm the one speaking.
Brothers and sisters, words only have power if we give them power. We must take back the word retard. Make it ours.
Sweetheart, the rest of us find the word offensive.
I'm not your sweetheart, bitch.
Mrs. Cantage, I know you mean well, but many of us here think it's time that we reclaim and redefine the word. And since normies don't get called retard, they don't have a say in this.
Normies do not get a say.
What's a normie?
That's bullshit. We got to say, fuck you.
I think it's slang for non-retards.
Hey, Fabio, do you mind?
Sorry.
I don't care how it's used. I don't want anybody calling my son that word ever. It's incredibly hurtful.
Even if we did get rid of it, someone will just think of another way of saying it.
That's right. The queers took back their word.
It's different.
How's it different? It's not like race issues disappear if people stop saying nigger.
Shut the fuck up. I can say it, you can't.
Retards, we must band together.
The way to get respect is to take respect, and normies can help us get that message out. Raise your hand if you're with us.
Yeah.
God, they're so close, but they still missed the mark. God damn it. So close. So close. That's not what I wanted to show you though. Where is it? Is it on? Someone just sent me this. This is so funny how things translate. Someone tell what's going on with my, did I just crash? Am I still up? Where is this? Where is this? Where is that picture? Oh, wrong account. I'd like to leave you finally with some words of wisdom. Shit, how come I can't find that? Well, shit, I don't even know where that is. I can't even show you. Where the fuck is that post? This might have to wait till tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Here it is. This is from Christoph Horvat's Instagram account. He writes, surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. On that note, I'm going to go see my wife. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.